Hooray! Hi, how are you? It's a girl, Lila Mutams, also known as Gilop Z, girl from Zambia. Let me just clean the screen a bit. That's better. That's better. How are you? Tell me where you're watching me from. We are live today. I've got something important to discuss with you people. If you haven't yet seen my video, I've shared a video on my YouTube channel, and this video is with regards to what's happening in Zambia, the mines. I know most of you haven't seen it yet. The reason why I've come this time because I know some of you, oh, hi Christine, now I can add you as a moderator because you're here. Good to see you, good to see you. So I had a live stream earlier and the live stream was powerful. It was the first time I was adding so many people to be part of the live stream, and it was amazing. So smash the thumbs up, smash the thumbs up. I've got a lot to discuss, specifically with regards to my videos, which I've already shared, and now what I have also discovered as well. So thank you so much. Share this live stream. If you have a community tab, share the live stream. This is amazing. It's amazing to have you people all here. We are talking about what is happening in Africa with regards to the Chinese. The whole internet has gone berserk with what they're discovering now. And just today we had a live stream talking about the gold mines in Zambia, though I did specify Mwenolunga, but there's other mines. How are you, Mike Shep? Where are you from? Are you a YouTube channel? Good to see you. Share this live stream. Let's get rolling until we reach 100 people, and then we can start talking. It's Golela Matams, also known as Gilop Z. Hi, Winnie Edem. Where are you watching me from? Tell me where you're watching me from. Thank you so much. I know a lot of you are on lockdown, so you're available to be part of the discussion at this godly hour. Mike Shep says, in the United States of America. Okay. Winnie is watching from New York. Smash the thumbs up as well. Yes, I came at this specific time because of you, my American people. I know when I have live streams in the daytime, you miss out. So I didn't want you people to miss out on this particular live stream. Hi, so Chrissy says she's watching me from Las Vegas. Good to see you. Bantu watching me from Maryland. Good to see you. Hi, Edford. Good to see you. Smash the thumbs up. There's 33 of you. We need to have at least 33 thumbs up. Hi, Njava S. Good to see you. Yes, because I wanted you guys to be part of the live stream. Natasha, how are you? Yes, and obviously it was my first time. I've never done it. That was like the test on the final day. We've never even done a test before. Lemmy watching from Mumbwa. How are you? It's Girl Lela Matams, also known as Girl Posit. Share the stream. We are talking about what is happening in Africa. And as you can see from the thumbnail, I'm just trying to tweak a little bit on the titles just to include more people. But you know, we are talking about Zambia and other parts of Africa. Hi, Josie. Well, good to see you. Hi, Malenga. Good to see you. Which part of Zambia you watch me from? Let's smash the thumbs up and let's make sure we reach at least 100. So Mike Shep says, Lily, you are my favorite YouTuber. Thank you so much. It's by the grace of God that we are here sharing what we can on our YouTube channels. I shared a video on my YouTube channel, which I've started with this live stream. And I know a lot of you haven't yet seen it because there were so many videos that were uploaded and so much that was going on YouTube that you've missed that particular video. And I want us to talk about it because the people who are affected, they want me to talk about it more and more. How are you, Gladness Michael? Watching me from Zimbabwe, Grace. Wow. Zimbabwe. This is amazing. Smash the thumbs up. Let's make sure we hit at least 100 people. Peter says, thank you so much, Lily, for the good job you're doing to all Africa, Zambia, and other countries. Thank you so much for also joining. You motivate me, you inspire me by your comments. I can't believe I've reached 56,600 subscribers. God is good. And one of my videos that I stated a few days ago, I did say that the video was going viral, and that video is now 104,000 views. Woo! It's a girl and I'm at times also known as Gelo Pazed. Gelo Pazed. I'm so excited that the video is 104,000 views. Never give up. I may share in a minute. So I shared a video on my YouTube channel, and the video is about let me just make sure I don't get the name of the mine wrongly. Like, I need to get it correctly, because sometimes I may tend to forget the name of the mine. Yeah. Okay, so the mine, is it NCFP or NP? I don't know why I can't get that mine correctly, honestly. But when I was searching for it, I searched it correctly. But the video is on my YouTube channel. Now, somebody approached me. Okay, more people are coming. So let more people come, let more people come, let more people come. And then I will start talking about the mine. Yes. Thank you, Ruben, please drop the link for that video. NFCA. Thank you so much, Lemmy. So I shared the video on my YouTube channel of the mine, NFCA. And this video includes footage of where the miners are staying in Kalulushi, Chambishi. Now, in confidence, I received the videos, pictures of where they're staying. So I shared the video and I included that footage, which is nowhere on social media except on my YouTube channel. And I would like that video to go as far as it can. I've made efforts to send the video to the mayor of Kalulushi, and it will be good if things can be changed. Now, in that video, I just stated how the miners were being mistreated. That video really made me upset. Actually, even today, for me to be able to do a live stream today, I was just like, at least I'm a bit better. But the video made me upset. I cried. After I finished shooting the video, I started going through, and as I was going through the videos, because then I have to add those snippets of where they sleep, I just started crying. I cried, and I was just thinking, what sort of leadership is this? What sort of leadership is this? I didn't research much about the mine then. I just did what I could. Okay, there's this mine and that, and then I talked about the mine and how people are being mistreated. And then I started reading things on the internet. To be honest, our African leaders have let us down. They failed us. In as much as we can talk about China, but it's our African leaders who have caused this big problem. I came across an article of 8 years ago on The Guardian. And the caption is, Chinese mining firms in Zambia under fire for mistreating workers. This was 8 years ago. 8 years later, the same mining company has mistreated its workers by putting them on rocks, right? Bricks, and then putting like boards, and they just put bedding there and they sleep there. That's where people are expected to sleep. Hi, Witty Graphics, good to see you. Highlight Francis, thank you so much. That's where people are expected to sleep. There's no proper sanitation for them, no water, and they are made to sleep there. So when I saw the video, I was like, what is this? So whilst the mayor was busy with the other video of exposing the cement plant, which is Simona cement plant, we were concluding the matter with these guys because they had come on my YouTube channel like this. Lily, we need your help. Talk about this. And obviously the mayor is powerless because his region is Lusaka. And we are talking of Kalulushi, Chambishi area. So I watched the videos, I set up everything, and I shared. His Holiness says, China is not our problem. In Africa, we Africans are our own problem. Yeah, that's what I want to say. Thank you so much for your contribution. So I was like, okay, how did we get to this point? And then I watched a video where two union leaders, these are leaders, telling the guys, just stay here, because the background of story is that the Chinese people are saying they can't go away from the mining plant because if they go away, they will bring in coronavirus. So they have to stay within the building, within the premises. And then they haven't seen their wives. Obviously, they're married men. They haven't seen their wives. And they're made to stay here with no proper food. And then these guys were complaining to the union leaders. And what does the union say? You know what? It's up to them. You know, we're still trying to negotiate with them. And I'm thinking, an investor has come to your country, has brought in their own rules. Aren't you supposed to give these investors rules that suit the people of Zambia? And that video, it really made me upset. I cried. Please watch the video. I really, really cried. So in reading this on the internet, Chinese mining firms in Zambia under fire for mistreating workers 8 years ago, and history repeats itself. If truly these people are investors, they've come into the country, and the government says, okay, we like you being in the country, and yes, workers have complained, and then history repeats itself, it means the government is not doing much, and we cannot blame China. We have to blame our African leaders. And then in the video, there's a part where I talk about the minister, Musukwa, that is enjoying himself with our mines. If you've heard the audio, listened to the audio on my YouTube channel, it was not me speaking. The person that is working with them was talking about Mr. Musukwa, this and that, over the mines. And we say Africa is poor, yet there's gold in Africa. And recently they discovered oil and all those things in Zambia. Mr. Musukwa turned up. He went to the mining plant to see how the mining workers are saying, their conditions. And a message was passed on to TV that the Chinese are looking after them well. Now, 8 years ago, the workers were mistreated. 8 years later, the workers are being mistreated because keeping people in your workplace environment is abuse. It's against human rights. First of all, there is no coronavirus in Africa. Coronavirus came from China. Secondly, the Chinese bosses are allowed to leave their premises and go to their houses. Meanwhile, these guys stay home. And yet the Chinese people can probably even go on holiday to China and bring back coronavirus to Zambia. And they're saying they can't go. During this period, all the Chinese companies across the globe have sent messages of black people have the coronavirus. Black people are the ones who are going to bring the coronavirus, so we must not allow them near us. What am I trying to say? If our African leaders had put sanctions, had put laws, had binding contracts and agreements that say, yes, we like you to be investors in our countries, but this is how you treat our people. This is the national minimum wage. I was shocked that a Chinese company is paying people 600 kwacha, $30 a month or $40. Whilst these companies are making billions of kwacha. And when you look at the union leaders, the video will upset you. That's why I really want you to watch that video and share it. When you look at the union leaders, they are fat with their big bellies. You can see they're enjoying themselves and they don't care. And the guys are like, no, 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 we don't even have a TV. And they've been told, these workers have been told, you are going to stay for a further month or so. But we are still negotiating with these guys. You know, these guys, they don't like this and that. I'm like, God, our African leaders are selfish. In my country, you come and give me your own rules? Really? And when we say Zambia is a Chinese colony, people don't believe. And yet, everything that is happening now is to favor the Chinese. Yesterday, the president of Zambia, with due respect, made a speech. And to be honest, he made a fool out of himself. Because there are issues that people want to hear the president of Zambia speak, and then he doesn't touch on them. What is he addressing? Who is he addressing? That statement favored the Chinese more. Because he talked about how we've been a peaceful country, we should have peace with one another, violence. And I'm thinking, your cadres are violent. They stop Hakainde Hichilema from having his interview program, which he has paid for. Paid. They storm in to the radio station at Muchinga. And what do they say? Stop the interview. Who is more violent? Your cadres or people who are simply saying, we want a better Zambia. We are tired of the way we're being treated. Who is violent? You speak, people are scared to speak because one cadre will abuse you. No, it is your human right as a Zambian citizen to speak about things that affect you. Nobody should ever make you shut up because it is your right. I saw this guy's condition and I'm thinking, who allows that? And then the union leaders are aware that these guys are living like this. And what do? They give a report which goes to the news to say they are being kept well by the Chinese. I have video evidence. Please watch the video. 8 years ago, the same company was reported for human rights abuse. 8 years later, it's the Zambians who are even covering up for the Chinese. We don't need to blame the Chinese. Because we, as a nation, have decided to embrace them because of what? The brown envelope. They pay them bribes. They pay them money for the favors that they get from these people. That is why they can do whatever they want. If you see the video of the cement plant where Mao Sampa had gone to see, how can you say we are social distancing and people are sleeping in a small section of a cooler or whatever you can call it? It is happening in Zambia today. So many people have sent me messages worldwide appreciating what they are seeing on my YouTube channel. And so many people from Zambia are scared to even say it is me. But please, share this story. So many people, they're looking at this platform as a voice for them. For how long are we going to be in this situation? For how long are our leaders going to put us in this situation? If a visitor, I'm in Britain, I'm an immigrant. The British rule says that if you are not born in this country, you're not a British citizen. Can I go and fight them and say, I'm a British, I want to be British, I want a British passport? No. The British law says you have to stay in the country for 10 years in order for you to qualify for indefinite leave to remain. Can I fight them? No. That is their law. The British law says that if you're selling food, write the menu in English. Chinese restaurants write their menu in English. Not even a Chinese sign is there. But in Zambia, we have Chinese signboards everywhere. Who has given them the freedom? Our leaders. Let me read some comments. Okay, so Christine says, I used to work for Chinese people and I know what it is. Add some more. Liz Tellman says, I watched the video. It's so sad. It's very sad. His Holiness says, China is not our problem in Africa. We are our own problems, definitely. Who else? Winnie says, I was thinking about that too. That how are they surviving? Yeah, how are they surviving? Ola G says, well done, sister. Thank you. I'm Annie Larry. Where are you watching me from? Good job. My problem is all Zambians have to wake up against the so-called Chinese. We need them to get out of Zambia. Is the lady of Africa and not China. I'm Larry from Ghana. Definitely. Because we are accepting mediocrity. 8 years ago, sir, this happened. Abuse. It reached as far as the human rights. 8 years later, the same thing is happening. So I wanted to read for you. Peter says, Lily, let me tell you the truth. Many African people were going into depression from our own leaders. Can't fix. Yeah, the problem is from the leadership. It's not from the Chinese people. They're just people. I mean, so this is what the human rights were saying. This is 8 years ago, 2011 document. Chinese run copper mines in Zambia are breaking the law with poor health and safety conditions, hostility to trade unions, and regular labor shifts of 12 and even 18 hours, a rights watchdog claimed on Thursday. This was 8 years ago. Poor safety conditions and their health as well. Hostility with their trade union, and we've seen the trade union leaders not even being there to support them. And then they were doing 12-hour shifts. This time, they have caged them. You are not leaving the premises because you are bringing coronavirus. Please don't forget to smash the thumbs up, you're 118. Because you're going to bring the coronavirus. So, which means they were told, don't worry. We'll sort out the human rights people. Don't worry. Don't worry. We'll deal with it. We'll lie for you on TV that you guys are keeping our people well. It is selfishness. I don't even know how their conscience is. How they sleep at night. I don't even know. How they even manage to sleep, knowing very well that their friends are sleeping. If you see the video, this is like some wood surface. And then they put like some wood surface. And then they put some cloth. And then they put some pillows. And then they've put like cloths all over. Those are demarcations of this one. I'm like, God, this is pathetic. So 8 years ago, the Guardian article adds, workers describe abusive employment conditions that violate national and international standards and compare unfavorably with other multinational copper mines in Zambia, according to the Human Rights Watch. Can you imagine? The employment conditions, just like now, they're being told, if you leave the premises, you lose your job. And because they want to maintain their jobs, they have no choice. And they are scared to talk about it because once they talk about it, they will lose their jobs. If you talk about it, you lose your job. So they are meant to sleep there. These are meant for crying out loud. If you want me to explain to you, with such a job such as being a miner, going home to your wife at least eases your problems, at least when you're having intercourse with your wife. Must I go deeper? And to keep them in such a condition, how do you expect them to think better? And the next thing, we'll have mental health problems. And people will say it's juju. but it's the conditions where they're being kept. This was 8 years ago. But still, our government has not learned from the lessons, because Mr. Musukwa, if truly he is a minister of mines, he should have searched all the properties to see, let me see where these people are sleeping. Let me see the fridge. Let me see the food. And why are you keeping them here? Because we haven't had any cases of COVID-19. But now, a report was reported on ZNBC TV, because they run ZNBC so they can say anything. That is why they even lie that they gave 100 bags of maize meal for 40,000 kwacha. Because they run it. And they lie about these things. So it hurt. I was so hurt so badly. I was like, why are African people selfish? To leave somebody in such a condition. So now, the Guardian states, this is 8 years ago, the same company, guys, not any other company, the same company 8 years ago was taken as far as the Human Rights Commission. And this article was addressed by the Human Rights Watch. So meaning international courts of law were involved because of abuse. It's against the human rights to keep someone hostage. I can't keep someone's child or someone's mother or daughter or somebody in my house and say, you are not going home today, whether they like it or not. That's a criminal offense. I don't care if they have a job. It's not about having a job here. You're abusing these people because of pennies. Even the money they get is little. But because there's no means of survival. And yet in the same country, we have gold. Pure gold. And yet the country is going down the drain. How can we have all these resources and we are suffering as a nation? Children don't even have proper desks in schools. Medical facilities, pathetic. How? And that is why the only hope of Africans is what? The church. And the church as well is also taking advantage of these people. Pay your seed, pay your offering, and the little money they have, they pay their tithes and offering, because that is their only hope in Christ, in church. Because the government has failed them. The system has failed them. Their jobs have failed them. So where do they go? God, liberate us from this problem. This is the problem of Africa. It's not the Chinese anymore. Our leaders. 8 years ago, the group called on the Southern African country's newly elected president, Michael Sata. 8 years ago, the president of Zambia, then the late, was called in for action. What's going on here? To act on his campaign promises to crack down on illegal Chinese labor practices. This was 8 years ago. And then you have a president who comes to give a speech and talks about what favors the Chinese and not the people of Zambia. And you know what? I deliberately posted that speech because I knew it was useless. Useless. I'm sorry to say, but it was pathetic. How can a head of state, you know that people are suffering in Zambia, you know that the Chinese are abusing, you can't even make a statement about we come against discrimination and apartheid. It takes Mao Sampa, who is a mayor, to talk about these things. Why? Because you're on the Chinese register for those that they pay money. 8 years ago, the president of Zambia was sanctioned, Michael Sata. And today, the president it sounds like he doesn't care. And the whole speech, I'm like, okay, where is he going to talk about the Chinese? Where is he going to talk about what is happening in Zambia? We had a gassing issue, for those of you who don't know, where people were being gassed. He never even said, not even a word about it. But then he will come and say, can we open the casinos and the restaurants and blah, 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 because the Chinese own 99% of casinos in Zambia. Because the Chinese own restaurants. A week later, it took movie TV to expose what is happening in Zambia. And I give kudos to movie TV, because without movie TV and without Mouse Sampa acting, and all these whistleblowers would have never come forth. 8 years ago, the same thing happened. The president was sanctioned, the late president. And then this president doesn't even say nothing. Copper mining is a livelihood of the Zambia's economy, contributing nearly 75% of the exports, obviously. The country has become one of the most striking examples of Chinese investors' rapid expansion across Africa 8 years ago. 8 years ago. So the report obviously was based on a research that was conducted, field research, and they concluded after having 170 interviews, including 95 mining workers, and they concluded that there was abuse. Because it's a long article. I think I'll have to post it on my thing. So now, a miner so the company, this is the first time I even know what it's called, because I just know it as NFC. I didn't really bother. So even the name is annoying. A miner at non-ferrous China, Africa. So even the name is China. Hey, Zambia. Told the Human Rights Watch, that was 8 years ago, that sometimes when you find yourself in a dangerous position, they tell you to go ahead. You understand this? With the work. They just consider production. To them, production is what is important, right? Not safety. If someone dies, he can be replaced tomorrow. And if you report, the problem is you lose your job. 8 years ago. The same company had a scandal of 60 workers dying. And nobody has prosecuted anybody. They carry on with their lives because you don't matter. What matters is the brown envelope, the check that they are receiving. So if somebody would tell me that, oh, it's the Chinese, no. It's the government, the leaders, those in charge that have given the Chinese the permission to do whatever they want. You can't come to my house, go to my fridge, drink juice, sleep wherever, do whatever you want and leave. It's impossible. This is my territory. This is my house. These are my rules. That's how it works worldwide. 8 years ago. Now, same thing is happening. People are complaining. A boom operator at NFCA's underground copper mine is quoted as saying, this is what he said 8 years ago. We are working in very bad conditions, horrible conditions. After a blast, it takes an hour for the dust, gases and fumes to move out of the area. We are supposed to wait to go in, but with the Chinese, they say go, 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 go. Rush right away. You are risking the lives of your people because your pocket is fat. And you don't care. You don't give a damn how your people are staying. And then you come and give a speech? For who? Go and read the comments worldwide. See what people they were shocked. Because they know what has been going on. Zambia is a country, only country in Africa with 2 Chinese banks. Bank of China. We had Ruben earlier, we were discussing, and he said, look, when he was working somewhere, was it Ruben, one of the guys, when they were working with the Chinese would get paid, they would get paid in Zanaco Bank, the Chinese would get paid in Bank of China. In our country, this is happening. It was Ruben. So they don't care. And the guy said, they tell you, they rush you to go there. And when you go there, they say if you don't, they will terminate your contract. They are abusing these workers even now. They've told them, if you leave the premises during this COVID-19, you will lose your job. They have repeated what they did 8 years ago because the government has given them the freedom to do whatever they like. And the guy he added that, so we go straight into the area full of fumes and dust. You can imagine. There is dust in the place after a blast. And you are told, go, 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 go. They don't even care because they look at you as animals and not human beings. Because anybody who looks at you as a human being will make sure your life is safe. Your safety should be number one. Where they are staying, the miners right now, they don't have proper toilet and proper water and food. They have repeated what they did 8 years ago because our government has not bothered to put rules. Who is running Zambia? Because if you're running Zambia, and Zambia is your country, 8 years ago matter will not repeat itself now. Now it's even worse. And the guy said, the doctors say that these gases have caused my ulcers and chest pains. Can you imagine? This man even ended up having ulcers and chest pains because the Chinese don't care why you are outside the fumes. You should be back in the fumes. The same company 8 years ago was under the Human Rights Watch. The president of Zambia then was also asked what is going on. And then this time, the minister, Mr. Musuka, even lies. They are comfortable. Yet we have CCTV evidence. We have videos that can incriminate him. Honestly. So the article adds, last month, miners at 3 of the 4 Chinese-run mining operations went on strike, hopeful that the new government's election would create an environment improved worldwide conditions. Later that week, NFCA, the longest operating Chinese-owned copper mine, fired at least 1,000 striking workers. So the Chinese even fired 1,000 striking workers in our country. A Chinese company. So, meaning, these guys can't even strike. They can't even go home. If they leave the premises now, their job is gone. With no welfare system in place, cry, beloved Africa. Let's see. Okay, so Christine says, this has been going on. Yes, Mianda Makala, it is alive. How are you, my sister? Good to see you. And if anyone has that, I've just seen super chat. Thank you so much. Citizen of Heaven says, when you cried in that video, I couldn't avoid crying with you. It was so real. You are a beautiful soul with a godly heart. I was heartbroken. Why should this be happening in our country? Masie from Swaziland, good to see you. True Lady E says, where are Zimbabweans? They should be watching here. Zimbabwe. I have a story for you, Zimbabwe, tomorrow. I want to do a live stream on that, specifically on Zimbabwe. Eva G, good to see you. Maybe total control of the Zambian employees is part of the package, new slavery. Yes, that's what it is. Because if we strike, we don't strike because we are being violent. We strike because we are not happy with the conditions. Change the conditions. And then you say, all right, I'm firing 1,000 of you. This is what happened 8 years ago. The same mining company. So then, after government pressure, NFCA agreed to reinstate them. Reuters reported. I don't think it was even government pressure. It was human rights pressure that made that. Yeah. So they talk about the working hours. Okay. So the Zambian law specifies a 48-hour week, and every other multinational copper mining company uses 8-hour shifts that comply with this. So meaning they should start their work at maybe 6 in the morning and finish by maybe by 2 p.m. I know I did talk about the copper mining and gold mining company, First Quantum, because my cousin works there, and they do their shifts in such a way that nobody does 12-hour shifts. No, this is abuse. You can't make people working 12-hour shifts. No, especially in the mines, is too much. Okay, so the Human Rights Watch found that the curtailment of the union activity hampers the ability to address these and other issues of concern, particularly the pay. Though now the guys have told me that their pay is absolutely rubbish. It's not good. And apparently, according to the guys as well, that the same Chinese people have hired, like, contracted a group of miners, and they're paying them a little bit of more money, and they've put them in a different section where there's a TV. Now, I don't know yet whether those people are in the other section are black or white or Chinese. I will get that for you, and then I will let you know before I just conclude. So these are things that took place 8 years ago, and history repeats itself. What haven't we known about our African leaders with the Chinese? This is what we didn't know, that so many things have taken place. And then if you see the thumbnail, that was our president launching a production something, I believe, about 2028. Yes. So China's mining firm launches production work at new project in Zambia. So that was the launching, and the man standing next to the president is Mr. Musukwa. These are the people who are enjoying the money in Zambia. Mr. Musukwa is the one who's enjoying money. So Zambian President Edgar Lungu cuts the ribbon during the production commencement ceremony of the Southeast Ore body, that NFCA in Zambia, Chambishi, August 2018. So that was about 2 years ago. Chinese mining firm on Wednesday launched production work for the Greenfield project in Chambishi. This is where those guys are. Because when I was trying to find where Chambishi was, this is where they are. And this is probably a project of 2 years, and they're already abusing workers during this COVID-19. So for these guys to be winning all these contracts, it says here that the Chinese envoy said that the firm has invested 1.7 billion US dollars since resumption of the operations at the Chambishi mine, adding that the new project was for the third body built of the firm. They can put in 1.7 billion dollars, but they can't pay people even $200. It's a shock. It's a shock, honestly. So this is what I wanted to talk about. Okay, so let's see. Quinton says, why would they do that? It's shocking, Clinton. Good to see you. Okay, so Christine says, and God knows what the Chinese go when they leave the plant, yet wanting Zambian workers to go home. Yeah, they go home and come back. Peter Okalo says, Africa's leaders do not care for their citizens. It's pathetic. Marcia says, how can one be a slave in their own country? It's shocking. It's shocking. And for the union leaders to even say, oh, you know what? We just need to talk to them. You know, it's up to them. I'm thinking, you are in my country. You should be able to treat my people well. It's shocking. Okay, Witty Graphic says, true that you can't put the blame on China. They are tolerated. Yes, they've allowed them. Because you can't bring an investor in your country who is 100% an investor, no shareholder who's a Zambian. Ha. And there's lots of Zambians who want to be part of such projects. So now we have the gold mines where now definitely the Zambian government will be looking for who they can put in as a shareholder. And when they put whoever is a shareholder or an investor as well, you find that they have the shares, whoever is in power. Kroda Beck says, look at your president. He's too old. He doesn't know what is going on. Man is a product of old age. Africana Superstar, how are you? Christine says, it's true they get bribed. Virginia, how are you, my sister? Peter Okala says, many African people are very afraid to speak out. there's a problem. Yeah, they can't really speak out, because if they speak out, we have what you call cadres and people that will take you out. So people are scared. Liz Talma says, my heart is bleeding. Kruda Beck says, spot on, my daughter. Africana says, these Chinese. Victoria says, when is Africa going to realize that they're exploited, not investments? It's true. It's exploitation. How can a company that has invested in Zambia for the last 20 years, and obviously, yes, okay, yeah, they have added employment, but the question is, why can't the government itself? We have a place called CBU, Copperbelt University, and we also have the University of Zambia, where people learn mining engineering. So we have so many mining engineers. Are they learning to be mining engineers that will work for the Chinese, or are they learning to be mining engineers to work for the government? I thought it should be them learning to be mining engineers so that they should work for the government and help the government run the mines, so that the mines can feed the people of Zambia. Many African countries signed up deals, especially leaders of previous years, signed up contracts with the Chinese, which have made the economies of Africa to suffer. Right now, the Zambian kwacha is 22 kwacha 50 per 1 pound is equal to 22. Long ago, it was 4,000, 4 kwacha. Now it has gone up and up and up and up and up. Even the dollar was like quite affordable, but it's gone up. Why? Because the Chinese are getting the land. Even land in Zambia now is very expensive because of the Chinese. A piece of land in Lusaka is 120,000 kwacha. A piece of land that we're getting for like 5,000 kwacha is now so expensive because they buy so much land. So why would the government be allowing these Chinese people to do whatever they want? What is the secret behind? When we had the live stream, somebody was saying that they have signed up contracts. And these contracts that they've signed, are they written in English or in Chinese? And I believe they might be written in Chinese. But the question is, we as the people of Zambia, or people of Africa, nations of Africa, we are voiceless, because when our African leaders make these agreements, we are not there, we're not asked, we're not consulted. All we just see is, boom, Chinese are flocking into Africa. If you come to Zambia, for example, even when I was in Kigali a few years ago, when I was transiting, you will see lots of Chinese people in the queue. All the planes are filled with Chinese people. And these are not even rich Chinese people. These are poor Chinese people. And by the way, I have a latest update for you. The billionaire from Namibia, the Chinese woman, I was speaking to somebody from Namibia, and the person was saying that woman is the most corrupt woman he knows in his life. And in fact, during this lockdown, where they've said everything is shut in Namibia, her hotel is hosting big ministers. They are all going there to drink, to chill, to party. The same ministers who've declared lockdown. And he was like, this is just sad. And he's going to give me more data about her. Apparently, she's one dodgy woman. So that's what they are doing. They are in Africa. Imagine you as a minister, you have declared lockdown. The government has declared lockdown. The president has said it. Everybody's on lockdown. And then you, the ministers, you are going to party in a Chinese hotel. It's you that is giving these people the freedom to do whatever they need to do. So if today the Chinese worker, Chinese employer slaps a worker, what will you say? You won't say anything, because you went to go and drink in their hotel when it's locked down and they're supposed to be observing lockdown. They disobey their own laws which they put in, and the Chinese are seeing it, and they just laugh and say, these people, they are foolish. So that's the African leadership we have, that they think the Chinese love them so much, and yet they are using them to get to what they need to, and that's the land. This woman is so rich that she owns shopping malls in Rundu. The whole shopping mall, imagine the whole shopping mall is owned by somebody who was not even born in the country, and not even a country mate is a shareholder. The land. And that's what they are all fighting for, because they don't have land in their countries. They're coming for our fertile soil, our fertile land. And we're allowing it. Who's allowing it? The leaders. Because they are giving them loads of money. The politicians, everybody who's involved in government gets shares. That is why these people are living in dilapidated conditions. And the union leader will say, hey, no, don't worry, because the Chinese person just said, my brother, for your drink, oh, $5,000. The head just goes spinning. Oh, you know what? They don't even think about their people. Let me read some more comments. Hi, Namayo, good to see you. Yes, African Superstar says, because we can't keep up putting up this nonsense. Suri Benji says, we need to move without these politicians. They are Muzungu and foreigners agents. And that's why I was saying in my video, the one about the Chinese billionaire, I did say that we have to start thinking of how we can work together as Africans, invest together to make our own investments and monies that will help us, and then we can start helping our own communities. Like the way the Indians do it, the way the Pakistanis do it. The Muslims are the ones who help schools and churches. So we can form organizations like that that can help others as well. Okay, so Kruda Beck says, where is opposition parties? We have about 4 opposition parties in Zambia. And one of them has been made to even shut up. And then the other one, when he went for a radio interview, it was actually a radio interview that was, he wasn't even in the radio station. He just phoned in, and then they were interviewing him, and it was live on radio. And he has just been abused. But for me, one thing I always say about Hakainde Hichilema, who's the opposition leader, I always say this, that I wish he could start helping the people of Zambia now before he's in office. Because what makes you popular in life is not you talking and saying, no, when I'm in power, I'll do this. No, start now. Help the schools. Do this and that for our communities in Zambia. And then that way, people will vote for you. But then your voice is big on social media, but your voice is not big on ground. The people in the villages, in the compounds, need him most because they are suffering, they are struggling. And during this COVID-19, it's not easy for a Zambian person or an African person. I watched a documentary of a Kenyan woman who was cooking stones during this COVID-19, because normally what she does is she does, I think, picks some recycling paper and takes it to the depot where they collect, and she gets her money and cooks for her grandchildren, whom I think the parents died. And she is now cooking stones. But the good thing is that Kenyans mobilized funds together, and they even helped the people in the same community. They gave them food. And it was so touching that the woman was cooking, boiling stones, and was waiting for the stones to keep on boiling. And because the children would be told, oh, the food is cooking, they will sleep, obviously, oh, the food is cooking. It was the older grandchild, the boy, that noticed that, and then he told some few people, and then they came to the aid of that woman. How many more of those women do we have that are cooking stones, are cooking anything to feed people? And then we also have the issue of, if you are looking for employment in Africa, women are taken advantage of, despite you having your qualifications. And now we even have ladies who are even giving themselves to ministers and MPs because that's the only way for them to survive. The system is so corrupt in all areas. We are looking for a job, somebody wants to sleep with you. You are looking for a contract, you have to pay someone. Anything you need to do, you need to pay. Just for you to leave the airport, for your bags to be carried, you need to pay someone. Anything, you have to pay. You have to pay. So even the Chinese know that if you want to make it in Africa, pay them money. That's all. Pay them money. Okay, so Masia says, true, it is a voice for the voiceless. Charity Abadeke says, African president agreed on China loan terms and conditions, not considering the future of their citizens. Yes, that's what they did, because they didn't bother. They know if they sign this loan. At the end of the day, in that 5-year contract that they have, the term of office, they can at least get $1 million to buy themselves an apartment in London, to buy themselves whatever they want, without even thinking of the people of our countries. Our African leaders have failed us lamentably, and China just offered them an opportunity. It's like when you're a child, if a parent offers you something, a gift, you will take it. Understand? So even China is the same thing. They have offered us to say, oh, hey, we will help you with the roads, we'll help you with this, we'll help you with this. And they take it, gladly take it, because they believe in the Chinese being saviors. And I think it's also laziness, because we are not thinking of how we can be innovative as Africans and how we can empower the young people to innovate all these technologies which China innovates at a young age. Chinese people are taught how to fix a mobile phone, how to assemble gadgets. So why can't we also bring in technology in our African schools, whereby children at a young age, they know there's business, they know they can innovate things, but rather we are told to go to school and learn 8 subjects, which will never help us in life, by the way, except you've got a certificate to go to school. That's it. I don't know if you used any of the subjects, social studies, to do something today. We are so much into education of 12 subjects, 20 subjects, and at the end of the day, they don't even do anything for us. And yet, the Chinese, young age, a boy can assemble, as an experiment at school, can assemble a mobile phone. As an experiment, a mobile phone. And those are the same mobile phones they send to Africa. Africa is a land of opportunity. And Africa is the market that everybody is fighting for because of the population. Our population is a needy population. We need food. We need water. We need clothing. Any business you do in Africa, you will make it. So we need to think of businesses that can empower other people, and businesses that can empower you, of course, but also businesses that will leave a legacy that will help more and more people to be self-sufficient in Africa. Otherwise, it will be the same story year in, year out. They're working for the Chinese people who treat them badly. They're working as maids. They're working as, whatever jobs they can. I've seen pictures of maids working for the Chinese with Chinese babies, Chinese mixed-race babies. And I don't know the type of contract they have, but they are maids with Chinese mixed-race babies. What am I trying to say? For Africa to move forward, it starts with ourselves as Africans thinking of how we can empower each other, and then the leaders as well, and everybody in Africa. Because what happens is the leadership itself, whoever is in charge, they are thinking of how they can get funds for themselves and not to help you and me. No. And we can't keep on migrating. Why is it that the Chinese people are rushing to Africa? Everybody is rushing to Africa. And then we are leaving Africa to go to other places because we want to make a bit of money to help our families to go to school. The same school, when they finish their certificate, they'll be looking for a job, sir. Every day moving with a CV. I need a job, no job. So why are we forced into this so-called education? Okay. Ruben says, to make matters worse, Zambia owes China $6 billion in loans, and we are letting them do these things to our people. It's pathetic. Afrikaner says crazy. Eva says they are giving their God-given land of much resources trinkets. And Eva G, by the way, in Africa, it is possible that each and every part of land has some minerals. That's how blessed we are with Africa. We are so blessed. We are rich in resources. And that is why everybody wants a cup of our tea. Look at Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo. They've never had peace there because they have the minerals. And everybody wants a cup of Congolese minerals. And if we're not careful as a nation and as other parts of Africa, we will follow suit in these other countries, because the Chinese will just say, look, you owe us $20 billion. we are getting this company and this company and this land, and we will suffer. Magufuli canceled $10 billion loan. And I was like, who borrows $10 billion? Our African leaders. They are that sharp in that they just sign any contract because it suits them and it favors them. So, in looking at, NFC, I think the reason why I don't even know this Chinese mine is because even the name is China in the middle somewhere. Okay, in looking at this mine, they've invested more than $1 billion. And NFCA, Non-Ferrous China Africa. In looking at what this company has done for Zambia. Hey! Oh, but nanke. Who put so much money? What? Oh. My moderators, who put money? What? Oh. Thank you so much. Who did that? Oh, I'm so humbled. Wow. Please check for me who's put the money. Thank you so much. Kwache says our leader are not good for purpose. No, they are not. And we need African Tigers on this one. I haven't connected it to StreamYard. Unless I do it here. Yeah. We need young people in leadership. Because young people are more innovative. We can't be having young people sitting at home doing nothing and spending time on Facebook the whole day. And then the older ones who are 60, 70. That's why they sleep when they go for UN general meetings. They sleep. And yet, we have young bloods who are just at home doing nothing. Okay, Malawi police cars are written China. Even Botswana police uniform is written China. How can your police car be written China? How can your police uniform be written China? Because the police uniform it should have its own secret code. A police worker is a secret service person. Obviously, they know a lot of secrets of the law of the land and everything in terms of security. And then you give the uniforms China. Why are you giving the names China? Because China funds them. And at least your police cars even had China written on them. We had Chinese people being commissioned as police officers in Zambia, and they were even given the uniforms. Natasha says, PF cadres are so violent, the government must stop their cadres from harassing people. Such human rights violations shouldn't be tolerated at all. Namaya says, wake up Zambia, it's your time to correct things, definitely. True Lady E says, they are sending all the money back to China instead of investing locally, definitely. And I don't even know why we have Bank of China in Zambia. Sheikh Sharif says, if Zambians do not take a bold step now, they will have no country in 10 years' time. Definitely. Right now in Zambia, we have a power shortage, electricity. Electricity is a big problem in Zambia because Zambia owes the Chinese people lots of money. So I believe China even got some shares in Zesco as well. I'll put Zesco China and see if it will come up. Oh, wow. Okay. It's there. I'm going to read this one for you as well. Okay, Christine says, yes, sometimes it's due to this poverty that is inflicted by our own leaders that we abide to the Chinese rules and go astray. African says, Kruda says, Lily, Malawians run everything. Nice. So they don't have Chinese people running? Michael Ngabwe says, we need leaders like Mama Please come and lead us. I love you, Lily. I will always watch you. Definitely. It's a matter of time. And we'll be there. African Superstar says the Chinese break the rules all the time. Mianda says, Lily, is there a way for Zambians in the diaspora to vote next year? Job well done. Keep up the good work. Obviously, they haven't yet reached the stage where people can vote electronically. I think you have to be there physically. That's what it is. Kwacha Ngwe says, our leaders are not good for purpose. And then MiG F27 says, the Chinese abuse their own people. How can you expect them to treat you better? Yeah, because they don't even pay their own people good money. And then how will they pay you better? That's true, actually. And like what Kwachangwe says, our leaders are not good for purpose. They are not fit for purpose, because if they are in leadership, leadership should be, what is a democracy? What is leadership? A leader should be there for the people. You do things for the people, for the welfare of the people. The welfare of the people is what should be paramount. Education, healthcare system, employment. These three things are so important, and they are lacking in most African countries. If you look at Nigeria, I've been to Nigeria before, and Nigeria is so beautiful if you go to certain parts of Nigeria. And in the same Nigeria, there's other parts that are so poor, and they're thinking, where are the billionaires of Nigeria? Because whoever is a billionaire is thinking of how they're going to acquire themselves a car of $7 million, a mansion of $20 million, and how they're going to brag and take their children to the most expensive schools in London, get them apartments, and not thinking of the people. And that type of mentality is what any leader that comes in power has. If Robert Mugabe can have a wedding for his daughter for $21 million, a wedding, $21 million, where people will eat and throw away, $21 million. What about a leader who was in poverty, that is a failed lawyer, failed to do this and that, and comes in power, and he knows, I only have 5 years. They will embezzle the funds. And that is why in the UK system, for example, if you check the history of all their presidents, prime ministers, they all went to private schools. For you to go to a private school in this country, you must be from a rich family, because private schools are not cheap. And all the finances, expenses of MPs, they are monitored. Whether you're on a bus, everything is monitored, and it's a public report. The public need to know how much an MP was paid that year, the allowances. So there was a scandal of 3,000 pounds, where one of the MPs was overpaid on transport and accommodation. It was an issue, 3,000 pounds. Now our leaders embezzle like 1 million, 2, 10, 30, $40 million, and they all share. You find that somebody was so poor, all of a sudden, because they are president or because they are working with the government, all of a sudden they have money, they are rich. Where did you get the money from? They are running the country at the palm of their hands whilst you suffer. They are running the country with all the gold, everything, whilst you suffer. It was only recently that people even discovered that Mumbwa had gold mines. From a long time, the Chinese have been quietly digging the gold in our country, digging the gold. And yet the whole of that gold region, if it's extracted and even sold, schools can be built. And all of a sudden you see Chinese people building hospitals. Oh, Chinese people, they are so good. They've built hospitals for us. No, they have dug the gold from your country. They have dug the oil from your country. So that gift is just to demonstrate that they've done this, but they are even using your money, our money. So those gifts are plastic gifts, so that even when they're investigated, they'll find, oh, the money they used is the money that they sold this and that and that. For years and years, the Chinese have been digging gold in Mumbwa, and Zambians didn't even know. There's also a mining scandal as well in Nigeria. We had Timmy talking about it on the live stream. that they were, they discovered all these things that the Chinese have taken over. I was in Lagos at the airport where the Chinese presented themselves a Nigerian residence permit. Permanent residence. I was like, okay, I need one as well. Apparently, it's 300,000 naira to get one. So the Chinese would just say, these African people, they are very down. 300,000, no problem. I'll give you 1 million naira. Pay. 10 of them, they have the documents and they are in that country making money. This is how our own African leadership has messed us up, not the Chinese, because of the brown envelope, the bribery. Why haven't the Chinese come to the Western world? Why aren't the Chinese in the UK? Because they can offer the UK to say, we'll build the bridge for you. It's because corruption with the Western world, in as much as, okay, yes, some can be corrupt, but the way the Chinese deal with things is, here's money, give us land. They can't do that to the UK because here there's accountability. The government has to be accountable to the people. So because in Africa there's no accountability, where people cannot say, the money we have spent, this money and this money, or this and this is where these things have gone. There's no accountability. So it's easy for the Chinese people to come to Africa and do dealings in the back door without your knowledge, without my knowledge. And I'll be here saying, Africa, oh, Zambia is poor, oh, Nigeria, oh, Congo, oh, Kenya. But the Chinese are flocking our countries because they know a secret. It's like a cult. Where they make a pact. This is our deal. We will come to your country and give you so much money. And that's why I was surprised. I was so surprised when I heard the Chinese saying that the reason why they are sending doctors to Zimbabwe, and Chinese doctors, was because Africa has been helpful to the Chinese during the corona. I was like, are you sure? It has never happened, of course, but they will say that in order to justify themselves. Nigeria, there's a scandal where the Chinese doctors that left China to go to Nigeria, guess what? They've disappeared. Apparently, they are not even qualified doctors, they are engineers. No one even knows where they've gone. Those are the leaders we are dealing with. Very, very corrupt. And the Chinese have mastered the game of corruption in Africa. And that is why they are spending time coming to Africa. They are spending millions to come to Africa because they know if they spend $1 million to bribe all the MPs, they will make $30 billion. Because our MPs are so dumb that just $1 million will confuse their mind. And the Chinese know what we will dig there, we will make more money than they know, because they will make a lot of things out of it. And at the same time, come back and sell our products to us. You can buy this now at a double price. So who is clever here, the Chinese or us as Africans? The Chinese. Who is to blame? We are to blame, our leaders. Okay, let's go. So African Tigress says, the African superstar, I see you, sis. Share YouTube channel as well. I'll add her next time as a moderator. Ruben Ngoma. Yes, Ruben is a Zambian. African superstar says, we need to resist. Liz Talman says, only feeding their stomachs. They care less on the people. That is it. They are feeding their stomachs. And if you watch my video, I was just like, they are worried about their stomachs more than other people. I mean, those, if you watch the video, please watch the video and see how these people are staying in Chambishi. How many more people do we have? African Tigress is from Kenya. We'll do a live stream tomorrow, African Tigress, when we're free, so that we can talk about Kenya. She was just telling me a few things about how, Chinese people have invested in properties, they are landlords, and they were not allowing Kenyans to rent properties from them. So we will talk about that more tomorrow. I'll bring her on the live stream. Bantu Royal says, fire the Labour Minister and give the position to Mao Samba. Bantu, if you see the labor minister, I'm even wondering what she's doing. I think I can do a better job than her, honestly. Somebody said somewhere, oh, Lily is now campaigning to be in politics. No, we are here discussing. Mao Sampa is a man. He's truly proven himself to be a credible person. Let me check on the labor minister of Zambia. And by the way, if you check on the credentials of our political party leaders or whoever, you'll be shocked. Some have a certificate in healthcare, and they are a minister of this and that. Minister of agriculture, you don't even have a certificate in agriculture. Africa for you. Why? Because you were part of the campaign team, so you get a position. So how can we move forward? That is why the Chinese people, they know that all we need to do is to just tell these people we will do this and this and them for them, and that's it. So it's crazy. Labor Minister of Zambia. And then we have Bowman Lusambo. For those of you who don't know, I've shared about Bowman Lusambo. He's a minister of Lusaka. He used to be a cowboy, border people that call people, come and get a bus. And then he just worked his way up, fighting for this political party, fighting for this political party. And now he's a minister. No certificate whatsoever. And he bought himself a degree somewhere. Minister of Zambia. So you find that so many educated people are frustrated. Yeah, Joyce Nonda. Joyce Nonda is a labor minister of Zambia. Yeah, I don't even know what she's doing, really. I don't even know. Yeah, Mao Sampa is doing an amazing job. There's so many young people who are educated, but these people are passing on the position within themselves, and they don't give opportunities to the young people. Even though they have youth parties, youth organizations, you find that the youth leader himself is 70. So I don't even know what they even mean by youth organization. Namaya says, it pains me to see these so-called China investors because they don't mean any good. No, they don't. No, they don't. So Honorable Joyce Nonde is the Minister of Labor. Really? Oh, Zambia. Who else? Oh, okay. I'm Africa Superstar. I'll add you. Hi, Richard. How are you? Good to see you. Marcia says, I would really love to go vote. Yes, be there. Be in Zambia next year, 2021, to vote. I'm making sure I'm getting my voters registration card this year. And next year, we all have to vote. Our voice matters. Labor activist. Okay. Dennis, hi Dennis, how are you? Good to see you. Dennis says, Shika sounds like Zambia has made some decisions about who will control their country. So video looked like plantation. Stay strong, Lily. Oh, I was so upset. Band says, stop buying from the Chinese-owned businesses permanently. Buy from only Zambia-owned businesses. You know what, Bantu? Some time ago, years ago, we had a problem. I don't know whether I can call it a problem or I can say this is what we used to face. Many people who were business owners in Zambia were the Indians, Asians. And we'll be like, Wamwenye, we call them Wamwenye, meaning Indians. There are so many. They flocked Zambia like this. They gave birth in Zambia. Most of their children were born in Zambia, raised in Zambia. But they were business owners. And all of a sudden you see that the Chinese have taken over everything. I don't think even the Indians make that much money like before because the Chinese brought in fake clothes, fake this, and I think they even outdid them in business. Like I have a beard oil that I've been selling, which Simon Moore even uploaded on his Facebook page. It's for men. And people were like, oh, why should I buy this one for, because I sell mine for like 10 pounds worth in Zambia, but here in the UK it's 15 pounds. Why should we buy this when we have some for, is it 50 kwacha? And I'm like, you see, even people are spoiled with the so-called cheap things because they know that they are there, 50 kwacha. They would rather buy something for 50 kwacha than buy something that is worth 220 kwacha because we have been spoiled by the culture of the Chinese cheap things. They are better. Like people will say, Chinese things, they don't last. The only thing that has ever lasted from China is the coronavirus. But the rest of the things, they don't last. Okay. Manamaya says, go deeper. Peter says, all African country leaders have to know their games is over. Afro, we all have to wake up. Suji says, how can these Chinese make us slaves in our own land? What madness is this? It's shocking. It's shocking. Njabo, hi. African Tiger says, preach. Okay. Okay. Michael says, please talk to them. Corruption is too much in Zambia. It's too much. Corruption is too much in Zambia. And within themselves, they are exposing. If you listen to Dr. Chimba Kambwili when he's talking, because he was part of PF, so he knows. He was part of the Patriotic Front. The Patriotic Front is the current government, party which rules the country of Zambia. And this man is now a rival. So he knows a lot of things of what used to go on. And they've tried by all means to also shut him up. It's not easy being in politics in Africa. Oh, thank you so much. My super chat number 1 from Sheikh Sharif. Zambians need to stand up for themselves now, or their country will be an annexation of China in 10 years. That's true. Thank you so much for the super chat. Liz Talman says, so true, so true, so true. People are frustrated mentally and will be saying it switches. Yes, a lot of people are frustrated mentally, especially during this COVID-19. People are so frustrated, and we have to be careful with what's going on. And, our leaders don't care. They don't really care about our welfare, because if they did, at least the president of Zambia would have even made a speech saying, do not do this to our Zambian people. And sadly, I didn't want to bring this up, but sadly, 3 Chinese people have been in Zambia because they did not pay, over a pay dispute. And some people were saying, oh, Mao Sampa going to confront the Chinese is what has caused this. I said, no. Mao Sampa confronted the Chinese to stop abusing Zambians. He didn't say, get out, I'll beat you out. No, it was just formal. You are writing words in Chinese. You are not allowing Zambians to work for you. You're being abusive to Zambian workers. You are not allowing Zambians to come and eat in your restaurant. You're not allowing Zambians to come and use your barber shop. And then, so these 3 Chinese have been by 2 suspected people. I think 1 suspect has been picked up over a pay dispute, and the scene was not so nice. I don't support violence, and I will never support that. So in dealing with these issues, please have a heart. Don't take it too personal and go and do the negative things, because it's your life again that will be in jeopardy. So what we want is a solution that will give you a better life, a solution that will allow you to carry on living your life as normal, and not you being on the other side, which is prison. And then what's the essence of us talking about this? The essence of us talking about these things is we want our voice to be heard as youths. We want our voices to be heard so that the government can do something about it. Okay. Richard said, preach. Are we contract laborers? Bantu says, no Zambians should be watching ZNBC. ZNBC, I don't even, can you imagine ZNBC has been there for decades and is still old? Masia says, Mao Sampa is only saying one so far. Where are the rest of them leaders? One says, they are quiet. Okay. No, African Tigers, I'm not streaming on StreamYard. I ended that one. But we can stream tomorrow. I'll talk to you about the one we can stream tomorrow. Sorry, Benji. If we keep depending on our politicians, we will have barren lands in a few years' time, and they will leave, and we are stuck here. Remember what I said about farming. Start thinking of becoming a farmer. In the olden days, we used to laugh at people being farmers, but now, I'm telling you, if you be a farmer now, in 5 years' time, you'll be a billionaire. I'm telling you, I'm doing farming. And farming is what you need to do. Think about it. form partnerships, and venture into agribusiness, fish farming, tomato farming, cabbage. Whether we like it or not, our population is too large and we need to eat. So you need to get into agribusiness and feed the nation, part of the nation, because obviously you can't feed the whole Zambia. African Tiger says the government sold you. Yes, they did. So we have to vote out all corrupt leaders, definitely. Natasha says this is the painful truth. Bantu says Kanga Afioti. Can you say it again? That's Swahili. Okay, so Ruben is having a conversation with Sand, saying, how is it possible that you guys did not retaliate? Who can not defend your own home country? I'm telling you, like, at the scale of which I'm doing my YouTube channel now, I think I'm the only Zambian that is doing this, because most of them, they are scared. But what they don't realize is the government listens to people that speak. The president posted a post the other day. He said, I have been seeing what you people are posting on social media. I know what's going on, and I will act upon what you say. The president. So if you don't say anything, because the president will type on Google and things will come up. What's this? You never know. As long as you're speaking in peaceful manner like this, you never know. But if you're waiting for the day you have a position in government, that's when you speak. That time will never come. That's why we use platforms like YouTube, Facebook, talk about these things. Okay. So we're nearly concluding now, because I was looking for the super chatter, then I can conclude. Even the buying and tiling of land in Zambia has become so sophisticated, you can't go through the process. Normal process. It's hard, yeah. Oh, Winnie! So Winnie Edme says thank you, and she gave me a special chat of $10. Thank you so much, my sister. God bless you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so Michael says, where is the provincial minister? Where is the mayor of Kalulushi? So the mayor, woo! Guys! Oh, oh, 71 pounds. Oh, this is shocking. The provincial minister, or let me say the minister of mines, Mr. Musukwa, I even learned his name. Mr. Musukwa has visited the place as well, but has not done anything. There's an audio on my YouTube channel that has leaked. I haven't heard it anywhere else, but you can listen to it and just see how people are planning over our gold. And in fact, you'll be upset about it. You don't even think Zambia is poor or Africa is poor, wherever you're from. Africa is very rich. You just don't. That's why you see our ministers, when they have a party, they are dancing. There was a time our president of Zambia would be dancing at all the parties because he knows what is dancing. I was once poor, now I'm rich. The mayor of Kalulushi, I will be sending her the video. I got hold of her number a bit late, and I don't want to send her that in a message late, but I will send her a message. Okay, so Ian says enrichment is all that they have in their heads. Yes, it's all about themselves, Ian. They want to be rich. It's all about me. How I can acquire all the wealth and before I leave office. So Bantu says it was pathetic, so weak. Definitely pathetic and weak. The speech was something else. I will never forget that speech. The comments, guys, you people, you really talked. Do you know that somebody can literally do a video, like a YouTuber can do a video just talking about the comments? The comments are serious. Oh. Okay, so Richard says some Christian ministers act in, of course, cohorts with the politicians, because some Christian ministers, obviously, they are paid by the government and they work with the government. We even know that there are some Christian leaders who are even cadres that use a platform and say, God has told me this is the African leader that will liberate Zambia. No, God did not tell them. God did not tell them. Okay. Henry says, We keep blaming our leaders, and of course, they must be blamed. But we, the young revolutionaries, must act now to bring about change as our ancestors did for us. Exactly. We need to act. Use your platforms to speak about it. Go and protest if it's possible in a peaceful manner. Find out how you can act towards certain things. Sign petitions. And not just sitting there and saying, oh, this is the way this place is. It will never change. And every African person is looking for an opportunity to go abroad. And I keep on saying this. Don't leave Africa. A few years ago, moving abroad was easy. Could find an easy way. But now, don't. As long as you're where you are and you push hard, you will make better money and use abroad just for holidays without you staying abroad. It's nothing to even be happy about, except the only thing I can say abroad is good for education. Education. You can get your education, get your master's, your degree, and then go back home. We need to change things in Africa. And for me, like I've said, and I'll continue saying, and I'm not saying this because I want you people to like me. You will see what I'm doing in Africa. I am investing in Africa. That's just the truth, because that's my home. I can't see myself spending money here. I'm buying a house here. I can buy one for the sake of, okay, I have a house here. But I see myself doing more in Africa than here. And that is why I've been working so hard, raising my capital. And each time I raise the money, in Africa, push it there. I'm pushing things there. So please, please, please don't think of abroad as a solution. You will waste a lot of years. I've been here 16 years. And I know what I'm talking about. In that 16 years, my friends who are in Africa have done so many things more than I have in that 16 years. So don't even think about it. Okay, so Peter says, thanks so much to say that. Why all Africa tends to churches? Because they can't see any hope. Yeah, there is no hope. So everybody goes to church because that's where they find hope. Suri says we should start thinking like them. Us first. It is not made by us for us and sold to them at a high profit. We must boycott. Definitely. Who is in their right mind voted for them for him? I don't know. Sia one said he did do as I said power. Bantu, you need to watch my videos about Sia one when he talked about how our African leaders use juju to be where they are. Okay, Marcia says, I pray they don't silence the mayor. It is a high possibility, Marcia. The mayor used to be part of the party. Then he left. He formed his own political party, which was doing quite well, but they frustrated him to the extent whereby he became broke. He became very broke, and it was all over. Mao Sampa is broke, Mao Sampa is broke. Then he joined another opposition party, which it didn't really work well for them. In fact, it's like they plotted for him to be enemies with the current leader of the opposition. So they became enemies and they clashed. So the only way was Mao Sampa to come back. So he came back as mayor of Lusaka. But the man is very intelligent. I know Mao Sampa personally. He's someone that I know through a sister of mine. It's a private matter, but yeah, he's very intelligent. Very, very intelligent man. Okay, shame on the government. Okay, yes, so every Zambian, those of you who can speak, this is a time for you to be on YouTube, and most Africans as well, obviously, because next year is the elections of Zambia, and believe you me, YouTube will be hot. People will be looking for content of what's going on here. Gassing is equal to chemical warfare. It was horrible, the gassing, horrible. True lady, he says the church should be ashamed. Suris said, I agree. We know our leaders are paid agents, so why don't we trust them? Okay, Benjamin Smith says the strength is in the whistleblower, but clear out of the garbage, not leaders, traitors to the Zambian people. Yeah, so the whistleblowers at least have helped us for us to know and understand what's going on. At least we know what's going on. Before we weren't even going to know this. Prosecute the gassers. Who are the gassers? We don't even know who they are. That's the thing. So we can't prosecute what we don't know. Okay. Liz Talmon, by the way, Namaya is also a YouTube channel. I just haven't added a moderator, but I'll add her. Okay, so processing title deeds of land, says Liz Talmon, is an issue in that it's complicated. You know, it's been complicated by our leaders. Like I said, in Africa, everything you do, you have to pay. Pay for your documents, pay for your own passport, you need to pay. Something which is your right, you need to pay someone for you to get it faster. Anything, we have to pay. It's pathetic. My CSA says, true shame to the church. Masonga Mwanza says, the president himself is an architecture of the whole mess because he dined with the devil. And you know, there's something that I've been told. Apparently, there's three camps. One camp is Dora Salia and Dr. Chilufya. And another camp is, you know, obviously the PF. So what happened was, this is what I've just been told, and I need you people to tell me. So what has happened is, apparently, Dora Salia and Dr. Chilufya were working hand in hand, and their aim was to shame the president by telling him to say, open the churches, open this, so that everybody should look at him like as an incompetent leader. Because apparently, Dr. Chilufya is desiring to be the president of Zambia. And Dora Salia apparently is desiring to be the vice president of Zambia. So the two of them have been working as a team. So if you heard recently, they said Dr. Chilufya was in a mess. They had called him to be warned because they heard that this is what he was planning. Politics is a dirty game. Everybody wants a cup of tea. Dr. Chilufya felt, I've been the one telling the whole Zambia about coronavirus and the president is sleeping. I might as well become the president of Zambia. But he was deceived. Oh, God. Okay. So who else? Ava G says, the African leaders don't see past their noses. Shameful. It's all about collective. That's it. What they collect. Yeah, Movie TV is a private media house. I'm even surprised it's still alive with what they've exposed. Okay, Kruda Beck says the problem is lack of political education, which kills the nations in Africa. Yes, because we think democracy is about putting someone in power that will change everything in Africa. But democracy, yes, it is putting someone in power. But the person we're putting in power should be put in power in order to change things for us as a country or as countries. But then when they are in power, they only think of how they can benefit and not being elected in power for the people. You see, when you're in a position of power, you use your power to help your people to achieve the basic life needs. Water. Should we have water aid from England or UK or America, Canada, Australia, 50 years down independence? Yet we have gold and we're still waiting for donations of water, people from water aid. If you go on BBC, there's adverts of kids who are hungry and dirty. HIV medication in Zambia is donations from America, CEDA. And yet we have gold. So why is Africa poor when we have all these natural resources? We have copper. We have everything. The land is massive. Why can't our governments even plant maize or cocoa or rice and sell for the people of those countries to benefit. But no, it's about their personal pockets, how they will be rich. So you are not in their mind. They fool you by giving you a piece of cloth to wear and a bag of rice and juice and $20. But at the end of the day, once they are in power, they forget you put them in power. So this is what we are dealing with. That type of system is what even the Chinese have mastered, and they know that these people, we will even push them to be the ones winning the elections by putting in money for us to carry on staying with our businesses here. $2 million. Go and campaign. And they keep on staying. Because this Chinese company has been dealing with the copper mining in Zambia for 20 years. How? Because they secretly support the campaigns. They secretly help the governments with funding for them to succeed in the next election and the next election. Probably they've even taught our government how to rig elections. They've mastered the craft. This is how we'll rig the elections so that you should win next year, next year, next year, next year. I don't know if Sia One, for those of you who don't know Sia One, you need to watch his videos on my YouTube channel. If Sia One confuses PF like he always says, maybe, but it is a high possibility that PF would win next year as well. It is a high possibility. Especially if Hakainde Hichilema does not position himself well. The people of Zambia will just say, may we continue with these same people. Okay, the problem is we lack political education. Okay, Betha says the maltreatment of our citizens will continue as long as the government choose to remain silent. Yes, it will continue because our government is paid by the Chinese to do what they do. They are in office because of the Chinese. Their political campaigns are sponsored by the Chinese. I mean, where is the government going to get the money from to campaign? The Chinese people are sponsoring. The lady from Namibia, the billionaire, is friends with political leaders, bought houses for political leaders. She's the one who's even in charge of giving visas to people who want to stay in Namibia. The Chinese people that come in, she is the go-between. If you want to come in, she gives you the visa. How can you give a Chinese person that so much power in your own country? Because of the brown envelope. Okay, I'm looking for the last super chatter and then we can conclude this matter. Where are we? Benjamin says, if you tell people it's okay to step on you, they will do it. Period. If you don't tell the Chinese guy off to say what you're doing is wrong, they will continue doing it. They will continue doing it. That's true. Let's see. Mlamaya says, it's true, our leaders are a problem. Right up my country. Meaning rise up, I believe. Brian Mukuka says, nice one, Lily, and I understand your feeling for Mother Zambia. Big up. It is true that the coronavirus started from China, but let us not blame them for it. Yes, any disease can begin from anywhere, no revenge game. That's what we're talking about, Uncle Brian. We're saying, in as much as COVID-19 started there, they shouldn't discriminate against Zambians, and they should make sure that Zambians are well looked after and not saying they're the ones who are bringing in the coronavirus. Because according to all the videos that we've seen from everywhere, it is a conclusion that black people are the ones who have the coronavirus, even in this country. And my video in this country, the one I did talking about racism, it's just that my video doesn't say racism because of YouTube. I just said, this and that before you talk about China. And in my video, I was saying, we've been on and on saying China, 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 China. Listen to what the British people say. Some British people. Today I went to the shop to get something. And clearly, there's a lady who just discriminated against me. Like, oh, what about this social distancing? And she was so rude. Do I look like I have coronavirus? But the coronavirus is making people show their hatred towards the black race, like directly, honestly. And they're using it as social distancing. Okay. So Jackie said, sweet woman, how are you doing? Thank you so much, Jerry Jackson. Okay. Kruda says, I am an African but not proud. I drive expensive car. Still see myself poor because me. Yeah. Of course, you can drive the most expensive car, but you don't have money. You know, wealth, when it comes to wealth, wealth is you waking up in the morning and you see your pigs, your cows, your goats, you see your house, you've educated a whole village. Everybody is going to school. Nobody comes to you to ask for, can I have $1? Everybody is asking you, what is your mobile money account so that I can put for you $1 for talk time? Or I need to buy you some talk time, because you have educated the whole village. That is the wealth we need, where you educate people in Africa. You take them to school, you sponsor them, give them startups, form partnerships with them. They work for you, you work together, and they are self-sufficient. And not, I buy myself a car for $1 million and I'll be there showing off. That's not riches. For me, riches is helping other people. That's what makes you a successful person in life, when you help other people. And there's just something about giving. When you give, you always receive blessings elsewhere. Always, always. You receive blessings. Okay. ISO NY says, watching you from Poland. Keep it up. Excellent work. You have good energy. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching all the way. Okay, sorry, Benji. You've been told some leaders are okay. Example, Kagame. Yeah, he's trying. Papa Bright says, true sis, how are you? Mwarwa says, sad situation we are facing in Zambia. Zambians need to wake up. Zambia is drowning. Definitely. But we will rise up. We need to rise up. This is a time that we all need to rise up to help our country. Suri says, if we do not support their businesses, if we chase them off the lands, they cannot survive. We need to revolt and boycott. San Kuni says, it's the people who maybe you mean how long? How long do we know that African leaders are corrupt? How long? But we do nothing. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Kruda says, Lily, watch out for stupid Zambia police. They can't do anything. I am well connected, my dear. Don't worry. Bank of China and Africa Backless is a former. Lovely, love, life, and love. Hey, this name, live, love, and laugh. Corruption, until corruption is squashed on the continent, there will never be change. Definitely. David says, hi, Lily, I'm watching you from Namibia. Good to see you. Thank you so much, David. Thank you. We're talking about Africa as a whole and how we've never been told these things about China. All we know is just our governments working with the Chinese people, and yet they had signed agreements. We didn't know. Well, have you seen any document, how it looks like? Any of you guys in your countries, have you seen how the contract between your government and China, how it looks like? If it wasn't for Magufuli even mentioning that they were owing $10 billion, we wouldn't have known. Okay. Suri says, Richard, if any of our leaders were okay, then why is there Chinese in all our nations taking over? No, they play good cop, bad cop. They are all agents. Benjamin Smith says, worse than a work animal. At least they take care of animals, of work animals. It's pathetic. It's not good the way people are being kept in that place in Chambishi. And today I will have an update with you guys, for you guys, after I speak to the mayor, because I have her number. No police can do anything to me, I'm telling you. Because I am not saying anything bad. I'm just saying what's going on. That's it. Okay. Ruben says the system has made us, the citizens, powerless. The government policy need to be rechecked so that us citizens can have a say. And for some time, except COVID-19 came in and it disturbed, we've had what they call the Bill 10, where they were trying to bring in Bill 10, and if Bill 10 passed, it means the current government will be in power for the next 10 years. You know, thank God for COVID-19. It has shaped a lot of things. I know it's a bad situation, but it's also opened our eyes. It's an eye opener. It has shaped a lot of things. And for anybody who has lost a family member to COVID-19 and you're watching, may their souls rest in peace. It's not a good thing. We are just surviving by the grace of God. I wouldn't even wish it on anyone. Bantu says boycott businesses of government officials and their family members and associates who are benefiting from the brown bag. The thing is, you won't even know the businesses of the officials because they use pseudonames. So you won't know. The business will say it is owned by Mwale Juma, but the owner is maybe Mr. Kazavu Tembo. You know, something like that. Okay, Kruda says police in Malawi and Chinese police in Malawi are protecting Chinese shops like security guards. How can a police officer be protecting a Chinese shop? For what? A police officer is a public officer, obviously is in public office, working for the public in order to make sure that there is peace in the environment. So why are they guarding the shops of the Chinese? Because the police are there to make sure there is law and order obeyed and that there is peace. That's shocking. Okay. Suri says, if you believe you are powerless as a people, then you've already lost the war. We, the citizens, are the ones to change. Exactly. Exactly. There is no way somebody will tell you you cannot voice out anything. If you voice out anything, then you are in trouble. No, you use your voice out, say this and that. Go to the places where you can say what you need to say. Like, for example, we had an issue of 48 houses in Zambia. And then we had an issue of the fire trucks. I didn't see any youth that said we're going to parliament to ask. Everybody is scared. Everyone is scared. It's pathetic that in Africa we cannot even express ourselves. Okay, let me just read. I'm looking for the last super chat and then I can go. Okay. Brian Mukuka, Uncle Brian says, let us continue our Zambian spirit of respect, yes, of the human person, of who they are as humans. Indeed, the situation of the Chinese in Zambia is unbearable indeed. Our leaders should work on their agreements. Exactly. Okay, Dr. Ngimbwashe, Namibia here too. Okay, let me know what you meant by that. Davison says, Madam Lily, you are right. What you are talking is true. The things, what we are going through here. Wow, the Chinese fired people. Yes, the Chinese had fired people. My chat is behind. They had fired 1,000 people for protesting. For striking. Live Love says, and now they hold top police positions and they pay them 3 times for land that Zambians should own. If nothing is done, Chinese people will control every aspect of our lives. True. Africa needs strong women. Are you? Yes, we are strong women. Okay. Benjamin Smith says, Zambians, what are the plans to change things? Where are the grassroots organizations to make a change beyond striking? Because you are not protected by those changes. And that's the reason why a lot of people try by all means maybe to talk about these things and then they get attacked and then people just back off like, I can't risk my family. I can't risk. Everybody just pulls off. Like people just back off. I don't want to risk my family. People always do that. Um, it's a challenge. It's a challenge, but we are trying by all means to see how we can push through this issue. That says what? 60 Zambian workers lost their lives at the same mine. Yes, the same mine, 60 Zambian workers. Okay. Salman Creative says from London, the lies these politicians say will run out of rope masses turn on them to see change, love what you do. Thank you so much. Amos Mumbi says, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. Eva J says, no workers' rights. They don't, yeah. They don't brought their communist system to Africa. Okay, so the Chinese people have the communist system, which doesn't even allow human rights and workers' rights, and they bring it to Africa. Okay, Live Love says, time for talk, for action and less talk. Did you hear that, Live Love? Miana says, Zambians in the diaspora should be allowed to vote next year. PF should go. I know. But I think to make it more formal and official, they have to vote. Unless, for me, my theory would be if we could vote even at the embassies, it would be good. If Zambians in the diaspora can vote at the embassies, they go to the embassies and vote securely, and then the votes are counted. So those in the diaspora and those in Zambia. But it means they will need to invest a lot of money in order for the elections to be securely done. That's if they are willing to invest. Yeah. Okay. David Cameron made a movie about Africans. It's called Avatar. But we did not learn from it. My subscribers, you make me laugh. We prefer the illusion of Wakanda of Black Panther. Black Panther is an illusion. It's true. Kaunda, your children are crying. Yes. Tresh Pompundu says the greatest fear of every leadership is its people. But what signals are the Zambian people sending to the current leadership? Are we collectively able to change the direction of our country? Are we able to change the direction of our country? Yes, we are able. But you find that some people will back off because they've been paid. So it's a system that is quite a challenge, but we have to push through and believe and have faith that we can have a leadership of people that are willing to change things. And yeah. Okay, so Dr. Kaunda suffered for our freedom, definitely. Okay. Richard said, shall we just start from oh God. Shall we just from fry pan to fire bring in ideologies from right-wing Mexico or right-wing RSA, and you will see similar picture. Obviously, so many things will happen, including xenophobia, but we are not preaching that. We're preaching peace. It's not easy. Wake up, Africa. What is wrong with our leaders? Miso says, hello, host, and hi, everyone. How are you? Anaya A.N. Highly, the power belongs to the people. Only the people can bring change. What the Chinese are doing is classed as abuse. The people should stand up for them. They are in Africa and not in China. Definitely. That's what I was saying. Now, look, we can't allow the Chinese people to be abusing people in Africa, all in the name of their investors. If you are an investor, you have to abide by the laws of the country. That's it. Period. Kruda says, don't you worry, Chinese are good and work fast. They are going to create Zambia in 5 years. Yes, they will. They work so quick. They are very sharp shooters. Likewise, my brother, deeply concerned about Mother Zambia. That's a message from Pondo. PC Studio says, we, the youth of today, are a disappointment to our motherland. It's time to get back to the land. We should not worry. This leadership has signed, Zambia is ours. So if this leadership has failed, Zambia is ours. And that's why I mourn at young people who waste their time on Facebook, and whosoever brought social media, especially things like Facebook, has really, it was not meant for the black child, really, because the black child, an African child, is spending their time watching people dressed up on Instagram. And there's a video I was watching yesterday of a British guy. His video is now 1.1 million views. It's number 3 on trending in Britain. He basically created 5 posts to fake his life on Instagram. And he was like, this is evidence that people fake their lives on Instagram. He did so many pictures, him at the sea. Like, he created the sea. He wasn't even at the sea. He created the sun. He wasn't even there. And he got millions of likes. His video, one of his video even went on TV, and they believed, because the cat was trying to catch a ball, and everything was computerized, but people believed. And he said, this is how people live fake lives on social media. And that's what is capturing our African youths. They are on social media being entertained. Like now during this lockdown, we have powerful platforms of celebrities who have loads of followers on Instagram. They are asking young people to dance seductively on social media. And to the young people, that is our inspiration. Our inspiration is to, we want to be like this person. If this person can make it big, she's living well, she's driving a Range Rover, and she's telling us to dance like these exotic dances, we might as well do the same, because that is where the money is. The African youth is already destroyed with the mentality of the fast life, the flashy cars, showing off on social media, and all those gossip things, which will never help our land. They will never help us. Okay. Okay, so Ernest is talking about avatars. Remember what the avatars did? These flying animals that were indigenous to them, their new alliance with other creatures of the jungle. The man was guiding us, but nobody saw. We are lazy. What you say says hi. Okay, so thank you so much. We've gone over 2 hours, and thank you for your support, for coming here. I've been looking for someone. Anna says, how are you doing? Thank you so much, Anna. Hello, Evercast. Good to see you, my sister. Let's see this comment. Sun says, Africans think because the Chinese are building their countries, thinking that China man is their friend, but they are being deceived. Exactly. They are being deceived. Ernest says, the Chinese are but one slice of the pie. All the other countries we deal with are no different. Definitely. Okay. Band says, what is the value of having a president who is a lawyer and signs contracts that don't benefit the country? Ask for me, please. How can you be a qualified lawyer and then you're signing contracts that don't even benefit nobody in the country? And then we see Chinese signboards everywhere. It's pathetic when we see such. We need to find means and ways of having leaders who are more educated and who are more for the people than themselves. And it's also who they surround themselves with. That's the thing. When they are campaigning with the cadres and whosoever, they benefit more because they helped them. So there's that type of loyalty where they have to give them a position. If they don't give them a position, they won't be in power again in the next 5 years. It's a game of thrones, I guess. Chinese coming poor in Africa and becoming rich. Exactly. They are poor in Africa, but they go back as billionaires. Whilst the Africans are poor. Look at the mine. This mine, they've been operating in Zambia for 20 years. They are rich. And yet we Africans are poor in our very own land. For how long will we be poor in our land? What haven't we been told about the Chinese? What agreements have been made? You see. So that's what I was talking about, the company that is not treating its workers well, please watch my video. And then tomorrow we can carry on another live stream where we'll talk about more other things about China. Maybe we can do a part 2 and possibly do a stream where other people can come on and we discuss more together. Okay, Davison Utale says, Galopa said, Zambia, I'm watching you. Thank you so much. Henry Parkins Sr. says, we all should be wealthy and at least mostly with no poor among us if the resources of the richest continent are being fairly distributed to Africans. Banturia says they are not sending their best people. Because look, gold is a very, 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 very expensive mineral. If the gold can be sold and the compounds, George compound can be renovated. Nice houses can be put there for the people. Nice proper water, sanitation for people without them struggling, and then putting maybe some form of some industries for people to work, and they'll be having opportunities to work. But nobody is bothered about that. Everybody is trying to enrich themselves and forming companies, milling companies that only them will benefit and will make money and not you. And if you try to make your own company, okay. So this article, China steps in as Zambia runs out of loan options. With laws of Chinese symbols. Let me if I can show you this. What is that? Apart from Zam fastest logistics, I don't even know what the rest is. Everything is in Chinese. Okay? Zam fastest logistics limited group. Everything else is in Chinese. Okay, so this was 2019. Southern Africa's third largest economy is a textbook example of the increasing date facing a fast-growing continent. Zambia's capital, Lusaka, was having a power cut. So this is about the power. Actually, I want to talk about Zesco. Was having a power cut. So the only light in the restaurant was from Fumba Chama's mobile phone. The rapper, the rapper. You know Pilato, right? The rapper, better known as Pilato, had just finished uploading a new track to Twitter. The bittersweet lyrics in Bemba it says Yama Chinese, describes the concerns of many Zambians. So you see, there's a guy called Pilato. He goes by the name Pilato. He's been saying a lot of things about the Chinese. He's gone to prison because of the Chinese, talking about the Chinese and everything about the government. He uses music to protest. Why should you people be allowing the Chinese? This is how he looks like, for those of you who don't know. That's Chama Pilato. That's how he looks like. So, because I know how I can have access to him, I can even ask him to come on one of my live streams so that we can discuss why he's always been against, what's happening, foreign investors like the Chinese in Zambia. He has a lot to say. He was even in the UK for this. So he's been interviewed by so many people, BBC as well. He's the only celebrity I know that is fearless because he's speaking. So his song says, it describes the concerns of the Zambians. So this is what he says. They put on smart suits and fly to China to sell our country. The roads belong to China. The hotels are for the Chinese. The chicken farms are Chinese. Even brickworks are Chinese. So Pilato, which is an acronym for the people, a lyrical area taking over the voice, that's what Pilato means, is a voice for Zambia's voiceless, and he has been indeed. In May 2018, he returned from 6 months self-imposed exile in South Africa. He had gone to South Africa in exile, where he had fled after death threats. This is a musician that sings about the Chinese, sings about lots of things, and he started experiencing death threats. So he decided to go to South Africa. He sang a song, Kosa Mumpoto, meaning a rat in a pot. And he was just talking about the president being corrupt. He was denouncing corruption in President Edgar Lungu's government, like, the government, basically. Resentment of China is growing, especially in the Copper Belt area, which is where that mining company is, and my people are suffering. Because the Copper Belt generates 70% of Zambia's export earnings. So the Chinese are there. Now I understand why the Chinese even have Bank of China in Kitwe on the Copper Belt. Is because of this. So the government is widely criticized over its social policies. Cosmos Mukuka, Secretary General of the Zambia Congress Trade Unions, told the reporter that some private Chinese companies are operating in Zambia, hiding in the shadow of the mining multinationals, but are not following the recommendations of the International Labor Organization. So people are being paid peanuts. They don't have proper health in place. Cheap labor, obviously, and it's pathetic conditions, like we've heard. They don't even care about their welfare. Okay, so Henry Perkins says, we all should be wealthy. Yes, definitely. I read that. And Natty P, the general, says, strong up, Lily. I call the nasty global scavengers. That's who they are. Yes, they are. Because they are only benefiting themselves. They are scavengers. And then PC says, can you imagine a lawyer president failing to dig better deals for his country? Hi, Malaika, how are you? Malaika, I didn't see you, so I have to add you better as a moderator. Okay, Kruda says, Lily, we the children of the land of Africa are sold again by the brothers whom we trust. Definitely. Sun says, Africans are being desensitized because the Chinaman are building their countries, yes? But come on, are you telling me Africans can't build roads? Of course Africans can build roads. Okay. Enos Banda says, Lily, speak it out. You really speak volumes. Makes sense. Thank you so much. Richard says, true. They can use blackmail any day. Anna says, no foreigners in China. It's a communist country. You're not allowed to purchase land in China. Who are you anyway, as an African, to purchase land in China? Eva says, Chinese are building Africa for the Chinese. Did you hear that? Chinese are building Africa for the Chinese. Now that's powerful. We think they're helping us, but they're building it for them. When you hear about the lady from Namibia, the billionaire, she's been in charge of the documents for the Chinese to move from China to Namibia. This is somebody who was poor. She didn't even have a penny in her pocket. Poor teacher, and is a billionaire in Namibia. They come poor, but they become billionaires in our countries. So they are basically paving their way for their Chinese people. So we gotta be careful when we sign these contracts, when we sign these agreements, because they are settling in Africa. That's why they have Bank of China. It's for them. This is home. Can we open Bank of Zambia there? No. Can we open Bank of Uganda there? Definitely not. It's impossible. Angel Malaka says, watching you from DC. Was catching up. Thanks so much. I'm glad to be part of this. Thank you. So he says, I keep saying, it's not about the college degrees. It's about the guts. Who is willing to pull the trigger? Keep keep educating with no backbones. That's true. BDB says it's unbelievable that Zambia government has allowed foreigners to do business with their foreign language in Zambia. Example, the Chinese. Crazy. Afrosin says, well said. Thank you so much. We in the diaspora should start investing in Zambia. Definitely. Like I said in my other live stream, people need to form partnerships that will help them to do business. 5 of you in the diaspora, buy a farmland, start tomato farming, start cabbages, these are things that you can supply to shops. The whole world needs to eat. That's one thing we should realize. The whole world needs to eat. We will never stop eating. That's the thing. With food, even with minerals, we can find that after 5 years, 10 years, there will be no minerals. But with food, we need to eat. Our daily lives depends on food. So if I talk about farming, I am talking about farming big time, because I know a lot of young people, a lot of people don't want to farm because they think it's not a good thing to farm. It's not posh. That's where the money is in farming. Anaya says things will never change unless the people stand up and fight for themselves. Forget about the corrupt leaders. Only the people who can change things. Exactly. We have to fight for ourselves. Bantura says, exactly, Lily, he needs to show us. So yeah, we need to see the agreement. What was the agreement between the Chinese and our Zambian government, or your government of your country? Namaya says, have seen Chinese hotels, houses, and big companies owned by these Chinese. Okay. PC Studio said, HH donated Millie Meal, but he was blocked. Okay. You see, he was trying to donate Millie Meal, but he was blocked. It's crazy. But again, HH does not need to announce that he's donating. He just go to a compound and donate. Kruda Beck says, Lily, to run uncorrupted opposition parties in Africa is impossible. Definitely. Anna, I thought people would be going, they're still here. They're coming. Anna says, Zambia, please rise up and take your land from the Chinese. Otherwise, the country will continue to be taken from the citizens of Zambians. Wake up, China. Are mafias everywhere. There are mafias. Bijou Noah says they need to be weeded out. Live Laugh says, I remember when Chinese were selling gongas in Kamwala, meaning fake stuff. They've been duping Zambians slowly, and now they are doing it on a larger scale. Big time. Okay, let's see. Okay, Suri says, again, they take the loan and the people have to repay. We need to revolt and boycott now. And what happens in Zambia is, I think they've even increased the taxes as well, because they couldn't afford to pay the loan, so they wanted to be taxing people huge amounts of money. What's the tax rate in Zambia? What percent is it? 45%? Tell me, I think it's high. Malaika says, I experienced that too before I left. I went to a job interview, and this old man who owned the travel agency said to me, you know what to do to get a job. Can you imagine? I walked away. It was ridiculous. So we talked about this briefly to say that in Africa, everything you have to buy, you have to pay for it. And people getting jobs as well, they have to give their bodies as well. So Malaika commented that, and I'm just seeing the comment now. Anaya says every land that the Chinese buy should be investigated because it might have been legitimate contract. Can you imagine signing 99-year contracts with the Chinese people? By the time the contract is ending, 99 years time, there'll be different generations, of which the economy will be so tough that generation too will say, Chinese people, collect another 100 years. So it will be their land forever. Like ever said it is the Chinese land. They are paving a way for other Chinese people. Richard says, our son was saying at Richard Kambinda, Zambia is gonna, when the black people are gonna be making mixed breeds. Okay, I think it's a conversation between them. Okay, Tikle says, sounds like a civil war brewing because the government has to go. Roads can be reconstructed and built by the people. Sad, it sounds like that. Thank you so much, Tikle. Always supportive and here on my YouTube channel. Anna Angel says, to be honest, those grade 12 subjects are a waste of my 12 years. Definitely. Namaya says, in these villages, Chinese have promised girls marriages and parents have no say because they believe Chinese are masters and are treated like gods. You see, the Chinese know that the formula in order for them to settle in any land is to marry from that land. So when they are marrying, it's not for them to marry because they are in love. They are marrying in order for them to get the documents to stay in that land, in order for them to inherit the land of Zambia. They are sharp, trust me. So in December 2018, John Bolton, the then U.S. National Security Advisor and responsible for revealing Washington's new Africa strategy, claimed that China planned to take over some state-owned enterprises if the Zambian government had defaulted its debt. So any African country that defaults their loans, China plans to take over. So like Eva has said, they are paving a way for their Chinese people, fellow Chinese people. So this was a reference to an article published 3 months earlier in the Africa Confidential newsletter claiming that the state electricity company ZESCO, so in Zambia we have what you call ZESCO, an electricity company, was in talks about takeover by a Chinese company. So our only electricity company, we have power cuts. Like you can be seated right now. If you saw the live stream that we had earlier with the Zambians, they were in the dark because there's no power. Usually people experience power cuts. And this has been a problem for some time. And now the Chinese people want to take over, the Chinese company wants to take over the electricity company, which is like them having key ownership in the countries, and they do have, key ownership in the country's infrastructure. So Zambia's external debt currently is estimated at 35% of its GDP, which has soared, according to the official figures, it reached nearly $10 billion in 2018. So up from $1.3 billion in 2011. So in 2011, the debt was $1.9 billion, but in 2018, the debt was $10 billion. So this makes it like, we are dependent on the Chinese loans, because if in 2011 we had a debt of 1.3, then in 2018 we have a debt of 10 billion. It means it's a pact. We are boyfriend and girlfriend. We're never leaving each other. China and Zambia. Champion. So as Southern Africa's third largest economy and Africa's second largest producer of copper, and yet we're poor, Zambia is the second largest producer of copper in Africa, yet there's poverty. And it is Southern Africa's third largest economy. Obviously, South Africa number one. Tell me which one is the second. Zambia is the third. So I'm guessing Zimbabwe definitely. Between Botswana but Namibia is small. No, between Botswana and one of the countries in the southern. So yeah, despite them being the high producers, we're still suffering. So Zambia is a textbook case of the Chinese debt trap. Funny enough, this was last year, before coronavirus. They were being talked into about the debt trap. I want to show you this picture of our president smiling with the Chinese. So that's our almighty president smiling with the Chinese. This is how they roll. They are in so many agreements. The Chinese are even smiling because they know you owe us money. Okay, so Zambia is a textbook case of the Chinese debt trap that affects 15 African countries, including Djibouti and the Democratic Republic of Congo. That was my alarm. Don't can I have my water, please? I think I left it upstairs. Okay, so that photograph is the president of Zambia, Edgar Lungu, meeting Chinese workers during a walkabout. I had left my water there. Thank you. It's quite hot, so my son came to get water. Came to get a drink from the fridge. And I'm quite thirsty as well. So the president was meeting Chinese workers during the walkabout in Lusaka. That's a picture where they were shaking hands. There's a strong love there, as you saw. So at a conference on China's Belt and Road Initiative in Beijing in April 2018, Christine Lagarde, the then International Monetary Fund's, IMF managing director, recognized that Chinese aid could help with Africa's pressing need for infrastructure and finance, but noted the intergovernmental partnerships. Now the question is, do we need these roads more than welfare? Do we need all these buildings and infrastructure when people are suffering, they're hungry? All the billions of dollars that have been borrowed, did our government borrow this money to build the roads or to feed the Zambian people? Because I don't understand. In my years of growing up, when I would hear, we owe so much money, we owe $6 million or $20 million or $50 million to the IMF or to whoever, to America. I thought the money was borrowed to feed the economies of African countries. But to find out that they are borrowing money to build roads is useless. Who benefits from the roads anyway? I don't understand this logic of borrowing so much money. So according to Christine Lagarde, who was then the IMF managing director, says, can this type of partnership between China and African countries can also lead to a problematic increase in debt, which is potentially limiting other spending as debt service rises. So the IMF rejected, listen to this part. So the IMF rejected Zambia's request for a loan of $1.3 billion since the borrowing plans provided by the authorities continue to compromise the country's debt sustainability and risk undermining its macroeconomic stability. Now, why is our government borrowing $1.3 billion when we have gold? Why are we borrowing so much money when we have all these minerals in our country? You see, they are borrowing this money because they know that they've misused their funds and they've sold our resources to the Chinese, sold them to this company and that company, and then they are left in a mess. So by the time they are giving even a report of what our countries need for the year, the budget, I don't even know who benefits from the budget, by the way, because people are still living in poverty. I don't even know why we are borrowing so much money. So the Zambian government was accusing the IMF for disinformation. And who was in the forefront? Bowman Lusambo, the minister of Lusaka. Oh God. The minister of Lusaka, which is twined with China's, because Lusaka province, right, is like twined with China's Xinjiang province. They've kind of like copied the way Xinjiang province looks like. I read it somewhere as well. So, and this comes with the obsession of its trade war with China, which is smearing Zambia with all these financial support and institutions. So the government data confirms that China controls the government data. This one I need to read louder. The government data confirms that China controls 30% of Zambia's external debt, while most of the rest is in the hands of multilateral or commercial creditors or on the international bonds. So now you see, this marriage is permanent. 30% of the external debt that Zambia has is owned by China. China is the one that is in charge. And when you come to the Zambia International Airport, this is the welcome you get. Welcome to Zambia, Bank of China. This marriage is permanent. Welcome to Zambia, Bank of China. Is Zambia a Chinese colony? Yes, it is. We've just never been told the truth. So this article, it just talks about how African countries have gone through so much with the Chinese, and their debt is like a symptom of the Western capitalism, and also the fact that it's a sign of China's grip on the countries. That's what they're saying, which are desperately, very desperate for, they're in desperate need, that's what they're saying, desperate need of infrastructure and procuring funds through non-consensual loans. These are now thought for account for 77% total of the debt for Zambia and 23% 2011. So the World Bank and the IMF protest. So they're even protesting, forgetting their responsibility for Zambia's past difficulties. Between 2002 and 2008, the value of Zambia's mineral export grew 500%. So our export, when we export, we sell, right? So it becomes 500% selling, but we are still poor. And then from $670 million to $4 billion, but did not boost its tax revenue. Can you imagine that? We are exporting copper, which is now at 500%. And it has grown from 670 million to $4 billion. But still, the tax has not boosted the revenue and the economy of our country. So Zambia has been friends with China for 40 years for helping the infrastructure. Zambia and other African countries, this is the type of relationship that they've had with China. So in 2012, it was obviously, they were encouraged by the IMF, Zambia, that they should try by all means to refrain from the debts. And then there was a first Euro bond of 750 million. Who benefits from this money they collect? Honestly, because if you see how Zambia is, honestly, I don't know, why does this money go for infrastructure? To build roads, honestly. Okay, Viako says the Zambian education system is still a colonial era. We learn more than what won't matter later in life. What we need is a change in our ecosystem. Chinese was sent by their communist leaders to take control, absolute control of African continent and pretend as if they are doing good to the African continent. So like I say, they come as Samaritans, but they are not. Okay. Live Love says they have been giving Zambia loans for years, pay back their debt. I guess it's payback time. We are still slaves in disguise. That's what Masonga says. Political independence. Okay. This topic is getting hot. People are not going. People are not going. Oh, Anaya says the African leaders should be ashamed of themselves for making the Chinese come into their country and supplying jobs for their own people. So can you imagine, even the Guardian here, they've put the picture of Bank of China in Zambia, like hey, Zambia is a proper Chinese colony. Okay, democracy is a hoax. Ooh! Thank you so much. I was looking for this super chatter. Thank you so much. So Tres Mpundu gave some money. I'm blessed. Thank you so much. She gave SEC 500. I'm not sure which country she's in, and I think that's what boosted everything to £71. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I'm only seeing it an hour plus later because there's so many people chatting here. How can Zambia be owing 6 billion to the Chinese when we have gold that can literally pay off the debt just like that? The stupidity is out of this world. Useless leaders. Richard. Yeah. Unity is... Okay, united we stand. Without unity, the African continent can never stand with the debtors, says Anna. Towela says you deserve it. So the SEC currency is in which country? I think it's one of the countries. Thank you so much. I am blessed. I'm so thirsty. Okay. So San says, sorry, I have to say this. They are coming as foreigners and they are intermixing with Africans. This is becoming a mission impossible for Zambians. Yes. They are literally marrying Zambians as well, marrying young girls and having babies. Like, if you heard me earlier, I had said that they hire maids and then the maids have babies. So the question is there a special contract with that? You know. Thank you so much, Trash Mpondo from Sweden. Oh, I'm grateful for what you're doing. You deserve my contribution. Thank you so much. Richard, sleep, unko. Sleep in Namibia. Leonard Katongole says the old will not allow the young in power. That's the problem we have in Africa. Anna says enough is enough. The Chinese are taking over the minerals and resources in conjunction with demons, corruption, corrupted leaders. So thank you so much from Sweden. All my super chatters, I'm so grateful. So Cynthia Baldwin says, be courageous. These countries cannot do without African minerals. You sell too cheaply. Make them bid on these resources or else they cannot mine or take them away. Tax. Exactly. Let them buy them from us, at least, and then they can resell them. But to give them the mines, it's shocking. Okay. Jennifer US says, if the people pray and connect with God, he will lead them very well into Africa's greatness. Depending on our own wisdom, we stay behind and lose. Yes, it's important for us to look at what how God can help us, obviously, as our guidance. Definitely. For those of you who believe in God, it's important. Ernest Constant, Africans need to ask the Emirates for guidance. I'm telling you, the Emirates is a big family business controlled by one family, and they are billionaires, flying all over the world, and they are number one in the world right now. You know, it's just COVID-19 that has slowed Emirates now. And that's why I always fly with Emirates. I'm just waiting for them to open their tickets and I'll be in Africa. I miss Zambia. I miss being in Africa. Mulemwa Tembo says our culture and beliefs have somehow greatly imparted fear in us. We think speaking out to elderly people when they are wrong is lack of respect. Definitely. You see, this is the African culture. You know, in the African context, for those of you, my subscribers from America who may not understand the African culture, speaking against an elderly person is disrespect. You know, when I was doing my video on, please drop the link for that video. Please drop the link. When I was doing that video, there's a part where I was like, you know, I just said something and I was like, I hope they won't think I'm disrespectful. But I was just like, that's being, you know, silly or something. I've forgotten the word I used, but I just, in the end, I was thinking, should I cut it out? I was like, nonsense. Yeah, I was like, nonsense. And then I cut the video. I was like, should I cut it? I was like, nah. And then I started going through the video. I was editing the video. And then I started crying. I said, no, I'm going to keep it there. And then after I finished finished editing, and then I did it because I was crying. I was like, no, my subscribers should see me crying. They should see the pain in me. And then I just put it on record, and then I just allowed it, and then I spoke. And then I recorded after I'd finished crying, and then I was just like, I wanted my subscribers to see me. I didn't want to pretend. You know, that video, it touched me. You know, and this is what we face. We have very selfish people that make us whip on behalf of others. And yet, as African countries, we can be powerful. As African countries, we have the resources that can make us powerful nations of the world. That is why everybody wants a piece of Africa. If you will check on the history of Sierra Leone, Liberia, the minerals is what brought civil war to these countries. Minerals. You know, slavery in Western Africa because of the minerals, the gold, you know, cocoa farms in Ghana. Amazing cocoa farms. Chocolate. Ghanaians were farming cocoa. They didn't even know what chocolate was. You know, and I believe from I was watching one history about cocoa, how the first person who started farming the cocoa, I think they had learnt it from one of the countries, and they brought it to Ghana. And I think by then they didn't even really know about chocolate. And look at Ghana today. It's one of the largest suppliers of cocoa in Africa and the world at large. You know, Africa is rich, but how are we managing the resources with debts like this? How can you have a debt of $7 billion, $11 billion, one country? It's pathetic. So Malenga says true. Obviously supporting what we're saying. Koba Go so says kick the people out, Zambia. Asa, believe the people will take your land if we don't wake up. Okay, so we need to go now. Sweet Tin says Zambia has a wide range of natural resources including copper, cobalt, silver, uranium, coal, lead, gold, emerald. In fact, it is one of the main producers of semi-precious gemstones, cobalt. And yet we are poor. And yet the schools have no desks. And yet the hospitals, you have to wait for hours to be seen. Hours to be seen. And yet there's no beds in the hospitals. And yet the hospitals don't even have basic hygiene. It's disgusting. And yet we have all these things. Yet we are poor. Richard Kambina says, not that Britain's elite are a suitable model. Definitely. They just pick the ones that can be leaders from the conversation of the leaders that go to private schools in this country. Namaya says, let's talk about the Lebanese or the Mwenyes in our next meeting. These guys are just like the Chinese. Namayo, I need to send you a message on Facebook so that we can add you to the next live stream. Okay? Anna says, USA is regretting. Why do they make these mistakes in the history? Helping China to become an important communist country. So San Kun says, wait, wow, can someone confirm, please, that Robert Mugabe spent $21 million on his daughter's wedding? Yes, he spent a lot of money for his daughter's wedding. A lot of money. It was $21 million. I'll never forget that wedding. Okay, the biggest emerald mine in Zambia is owned by a foreigner. The guy has made money leaving Zambians with nothing at all. There's even a Senegalese guy that, because in the olden days we had Senegalese people that were coming to Zambia. And these Senegalese were sent to Zambia for business. Some settled, some went back because they had wives. So we have a lot of children from Senegalese men who were already married in their countries in Zambia. And one of them decided to stay in Zambia. And he's the richest. He owns the mines in Zambia. Senegalese. How did he even get the documents to stay in Zambia anyway? He paid. You pay your way. In Africa, you pay. Angela G says, Africa needs to unite as one. With one president. That is the way to get out of those loans. If the country does not exist, they cannot repay. Definitely. Kabal so says the people are evil. Okay. Benjamin says, beware that CGTN is a Chinese propaganda channel. Zambians and Africans need to counter their fairy tales. Oh, I've seen it here. I saw. Stickler says, why didn't the leaders tell them to leave? Okay, so Phil J. Bato says, what is happening in Zambia is a shame. Our leaders have no love for their people. They want to follow the communist system of China. Sweeten says, we are getting repeatedly and not doing anything about it. We need to stand up for ourselves. No more loans, no more non-Africans. Yes. As Wellness says, enough is enough of this nonsense. Nati says, really? A Chinese commissioner, police? I can't believe this. Yes, it was happening in Zambia. Livla says, the government has never had love for its people. City says, if any continent has had the right, oh, so many comments. Tickler says, why didn't the leaders make a deal to lease the land instead of sell? That way they can pay the Chinese back, the money. True. Peter Okalo says, Africa's leaders are primitive. Yes. Marcia says, I wonder how much Zimbabwean leaders are getting from this support. Sankun says, but Lily, I kind of like here. She's feisty. I will find attractive on a woman. Oh, you kind of like me. NS says, Africa needs a military alliance to kick out all foreign militaries with Algeria, Egypt, Morocco, Mauritania, Tunisia, and until they overthrow the Gaddafi, Libya don't have foreign military on their soil. Of course, we know what happened to Gaddafi, that they made sure the whole Africa saw him as a bad person. It's a story for another day. The boss man, the only leader doing well is Magufuli. The rest can go to the trash. But we have Kagame as well. Evaji says, I always say China was built by the riches that carved out to the next nothing from Africa. Okay. As Wellness says, all Africa needs leaders like that of Mayor of Lusaka. That spirit to fix things, definitely. That's a powerful point right there. And then Alina Bland says, what kind of stomachs do these leaders to be this corrupt? What type of stomachs they have? They are very big. JJM, how are you? The same thing the Chinese is doing in your country, they are equally doing the same to Nigeria as well. I'm going to have a live stream with a Nigerian so we can talk about these things as well. But like I say, it's full of it, thinking of their stomachs. Okay, Ossie, how are you? Madam Lily, hello. In Africa, we think too small. One Nigerian government minister said Nigeria does 8 billion in trade with China, so they must be careful. 8 billion is nothing for China. Exactly. San Kun says you can be educated and still be stupid. Big, educated, and intelligent are two different things, definitely. African leaders have sold Africa to the Chinese. Yes. Africa youth are to blame for the mess for the coward government. That's a message from Truth Matter, Ola Dada, by Ola Dada. This is what I was saying. The youth are fearing to talk about these things, so the mess will carry on. Anna says the corruption politicians are destiny destroyers of our children of the African continent, definitely. Benjamin says, good to see you here too. Lily brings the strength and a certain stand up to fight the attitudes that are needed. Thank you so much. Namaya says it's frustrating having our masters packed in suitcases, no jobs. Yeah, your master's degree is packed in a suitcase with no jobs. That's why some of us packed our certificate and now doing business because the future is not promising. Crazy. Kings says, these things are serious. I'm just from watching the video. Wait, for 2 weeks, this thing will be stepped on and we will forget about it. Meaning, people will talk, and then very soon people will be quiet, but we won't stop. Lily, continue with this live program. Soon our gold will fall in the wrong hands because of stupid idiots. True. 3 hours, guys. The best is to boycott things made in China. Yes. There are Chinese, Indians, and Zambians. Be careful. Okay. So thank you so much for joining the live stream. So many comments from all of you. Tresh from Pundu says, I'm hoping we'll be doing this more often, Lily. I know you have a family and many other things to attend to, but please, let's do what we can, and I hope Zambians living abroad can vote this time. Woo! Super chat from Kwame. My Ghana brother says, I love what you do. More vim. Kasa vim. Africans should stay engaged by demanding and interrogating the details of every and all deals involving their respective governments. Thank you so much, Kwame Badu. Oh, yeah, blessing. Thank you so much, Winnie Annie, as well. If Live Love says, if we are not careful, Zambia will be the next Hong Kong. We will start fighting the autonomy in 10 to 20 years. True. Okay, Tikle says, farming is not for the faint. It's hard work. I have fought for my people with the military. The blacks I fought for were afraid of me. They wouldn't fight, but I won. Alina says, the saddest thing is that the opposition who they are colder than ice. The opposition is colder than ice. Keep being a proactive speaker, says Richard. Thank you. Angel Malaika says, the thing is, we have gold. Why do we have 6 billion credit? I'm also confused. Okay, my sis says, thank you so much, Lily, for choosing to be the voice. Though I was so disappointed with the speech. Let's see. I deliberately posted it there because I knew you would all be disappointed like I was. We are getting there somehow. Thank you. Major Bison says, to get change, some people would have to die for the cause. But how many people want to die without seeing the change? It's a challenge. It's a challenge. Bigone says, right, stay in Africa and fight. Be careful. The politicians don't sell off the land. You are forced into the American reservations. Richard says we're manipulated. OC says, Madam Lily, do you intend to offer investment opportunities for black people who live abroad? Yes, definitely. We will talk about it eventually, because I would want a lot of people to partner and do farming businesses. Because farming, you can't do it alone. Okay, Big Blue Fire Chief says, I have sold almost 50 million records, 4 Grammys. As a brother in the USA, I wish I had known I am 20 years before. I am about to build a firm lot and recording compound on 100 hectares. Oh, that's powerful. That's really powerful. Bigone says, isn't there a viable opposition party in Zambia that shadows the government? We wish. Kwachangwe says, politics in ZA. Oh, Chef came to say hi. Blue Chief says, deport the Chinese. Chechingwe says, no, Kwachangwe says, church is corrupt. Okay. Ruben says, opposition party here in Zambia is on mute. That is why the ruling party is doing things their way, because opposition is offering balances. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. It's a girl, Lela Matam. So many comments. Tresh from Pundu says, the cadres can definitely intimidate citizens, but that is exactly why anyone should think twice before casting their vote. Okay. Big Blue Chief says, something I wrote, not knowing someone's worth is much worse than knowing their worthlessness. Kenya Mela. Thank you. Sweetie says there's only about 80,000 Chinese in Zambia. I would advise to get them out. Oh. Blue Chief says, I'm going home. Rego says, we can put the blame on the government for their failure to meet the people's demands. Sweetie says, there are about 18 million people and 80,000 Chinese. How is the takeover happening before their eyes? If every Zambian gives $1, couldn't it pay back the debt? Definitely it can. Trishfo says, more importantly, vote them out. So make sure you vote them out, and appreciates Lily for the live stream. 80,000 Chinese president. President is asking what? 800K Chinese, no, 80,000. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's a girl, Lela Times, also known as Girl President. Oh, there was another super chat. Let me super chat. Oh, this is Africa. Woo! Thank you. Thank you so much. I wanted to at least acknowledge my super chats. Every Zambian should receive a monthly stipend for all copper exports. Definitely, they will help to stabilize citizens and the empowerment of the economy. Thank you so much. African Tiger says Lily for president. Thank you. The African leaders need to stop accepting China loans when so much mineral Africa produces. Yeah, that's James W. Bigley. Thank you so much. Anna says nonsense. Toxic China. They are not even among the richest countries in the world. Yes, it's true. Okay, Clarence says of all the resources in Africa, the greatest of all is our women. Oh, I have to read this. I say this because if we were ever to allow the exploitation of our women, it's over, in my opinion. That's true. That's why they're marrying women. Oh, Richard says see your PayPal. Oh, thank you so much, Richard. Thank you so much. Natasha says the Ghanaian government take the cocoa and sell it on behalf of local farmers in Ghana. Of course, Ghana is doing well. We'll talk about Ghana tomorrow or the other day. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for all your contributions. It's a girl, Lela Motams, also known as Gelo Z, Umwana Kashopa Zambia. We will be doing more of these live streams to talk about Africa and how we can improve the economies of Africa. I came specifically this time because of my American, Caribbean, and people from other parts of the world who can't meet us when we're having live streams in the daytime. And I didn't think many people would come. Thank you so much and God bless. I love you guys. Thank you to all my super chatters. See you on my next live stream this morning. Take care.